Start it with me. No, I'm not going to be there. Just let me fucking do it like this. Start the show like that.
Oh no, this show already started.
Are you kidding?
Oh, this show
well,
totally
if it's like
show.
every other show, nobody can hear you, Brian.
No, I made
for the first 3 minutes.
It's very possible.
I'm telling you, nobody can hear you.
It's very possible,
but they can hear this.
Clackety clackety
clackety clack. That keyboard.
For all you ASMR fans out there,
occasionally,
this is my happy 4th of July.
Oh my god, can we just start the show? Yes, we are.
Let's start the show.
Start the show. It's the way we begin every show with a little game of should we or should... Oh, wait, wow, we haven't done that in a long time. We put 90 seconds up on the clock and the clock up on the counter the way that Jeremy likes it. Smack.
Kerplop.
Kerplop.
Where's Jeremy anyways? What is he doing?
I mean, he hasn't live streamed in like 2 weeks, so God only knows.
See, he's out there eating fireworks or something.
Yeah.
I don't know what he's up to.
I think I have 2 inputs on my mic going on right now. Let me fix this here.
What's up, Andrew? What's up, Kyle? What's up? Don't get offended. I am not offended a little bit, but that's okay. What's up, Leroy Higgins? Your arch enemy, the dead game cat. What's up, my dude? A Hobbit. Tristan, what's up, man? Who else we got here? Who's coming in? Gyson, fist bump to you.
Fist bump to you.
You're so ridiculous.
Ezra. Gabe. What's up, man?
Better than Ezra?
12, Phil.
School living with you. Wow.
Hey,
happy
Brian,
4th of July, everybody.
Brian, all 4 of the winners are named Andrew.
No, you're kidding, right?
Yeah, no, I've only picked the first one.
Good, because that can't happen again. Otherwise, that means something's broken.
There's 4. They're all Andrew.
Wolfie, Reaper.
All right, here we go, guys. Let's get this show started. What's going on, everybody? This is PSVR GamesCast Live, where we film live every 6 p.m. Thursday. That's not how you say things. Although in Europe, people
it was accurate. It was accurate.
They always put the month before or the date before the month, and it confuses the heck out of me. Especially when it's like a 12-10 thing, and I'm like, I don't know if we're talking December, we're talking October. You guys have to tell me. I have no idea what's going on. As always, my name is Brian Paul, and in the middle that is Dave from Dave Station.
Yeah, and what's up with the metric system too? All those crazy Europeans. Jeez. All right, I'm sorry. I'm picking winners for your giveaway.
For anyone who,
hello everyone.
For anyone who,
happy 4th of July, everybody. Go ahead and talk, Brian. You're fine.
For anyone who doesn't live in the United States, we grew up in elementary school, and they were like, "Don't worry about the empirical system. Like, we're gonna switch to metric soon." And then it never happened, and so I don't.
Dude, we are never switching.
We totally screwed ourselves.
Yeah,
we're never switching to metric.
I actually don't know any kind of unit of measurement at all, because they were like, "Oh, you're going to learn the metric system eventually, and so don't learn this." And so I didn't learn anything. I don't know the difference between a gram and an ounce.
As long as you have the tools to find and solve both and do all of the above, then you're good. I have a tool set for each kind of system there is, so.
Oh wow, you're so prepared.
And over on our far left,
we've got the most prepared guy in the world.
Is superstar VR gamer AJ from PSVR Underground. Also this channel, he does the tips and tricks and stuff on here, and he hangs out with us every single week. Also, did I say subscribe to Dave Station VR? He's got his own channel too.
You don't have to. It's okay. It's fine.
But I want you guys to know that I appreciate you showing up, even on days like this.
I appreciate you,
July, yeah.
And I appreciate the sexy game cats in the chat. Mr. Gabrione, how you doing, man?
We could all be putting M80s inside of a watermelon right now, and we're not doing it, and that's because of you guys. So
I was very close to buying some fireworks and shooting them across my.
I almost bought some sparklers just to have in the show, but I didn't get a chance.
I didn't want to damage any of my equipment because it's.
Yeah, I don't know if you're supposed to use sparklers indoors.
It's funny after
fairly safe, but who knows.
Guys, I feel like every week, the second we're like done our introduction, we go, okay, what have we been playing? What's going on? What is? Give me some news stories.
But are we changing it up?
Well, what the thing is, like, I never get to like catch up with you guys. Like, we used to sometimes we used to talk on the phone and stuff, and even like do all 3 of us talk on the phone together. But since we started this, we haven't done as much of that.
I've talked to you guys on the phone several times.
I don't answer as often when you call anymore, though. So
that's not true. That's not fun.
But so I was kind of like curious, like, what's going on in your lives, guys? Like, I just want to do like a quick little, like, let's get caught up before we start the show. 8 goddamn minutes. Dave, what have you been up to?
So at work, my boss's boss got fired out of nowhere, and nobody knows what's going on. It was already pretty amorphous as far as jobs go. Like, I'd kind of sign in amorphous, and I'm using my SAT words today. because it is the 4th of July, and I think that anti-intellectualism is a real bad thing in America that we got to deal with. Anyways, I don't know what I was talking about.
Well, I think we should give Wolfie Smith a shout out while you're figuring it out.
My job has been really fucking weird because nobody knows what's going on. And also, my friend just got broken up with, and I'm going to have to go hang out and console him right after this show. So we'll see how that goes. But
yeah, quick shout out to Wolfie Smith, Game Cup. He says, "Happy 4th of July, my U.S. friends. Nice of you to celebrate my birthday every year, even before I was born. Thank you so much for the donation, Wolfie, and happy birthday.
Happy birthday
we're just selling,
Mr. Red Panda. What are you,
we're just celebrating 24? Our independence from you, Wolfie.
So celebrating independence from him?
We don't have to be anywhere near him.
I think that's...
No, I'm just kidding, Wolfie.
and while we're here and while we're doing shout-outs, we wanted to give a shout-out to Phil Saunders, who also gave us a generous donation. He said, "Happy holidays, boys. Not even a holiday for us English losers." I will say, I wanted to do something special on 4th of July. For those of you who don't get to, slack off and watch fireworks and drink a lot and eat burnt meat... So here's what I wanted to do real fast before we even continue the show. Burnt meat's the best kind of meat. What I wanted to do is show our loyal UK supporters how much we love them, and say this day, even though it's uniquely American, is also for you. And that key right there is a 20
I feel like it's a big fuck you for them. It's not anything other than just hey guys, we got free. See you later. Over there.
We may be celebrating our freedom, but we wouldn't even be here without them. So
all right, so that's true. That on the screen right there. Hopefully somebody got that. If not, you're gonna have to wait for the replay. That was 20 quid. Uniquely UK PSN gift card. So thank you very much.
All of you for joining us, and everybody. Hope you're having a good time in the States and. Having some good food, some fireworks, celebrating with your families, and if not, your second family is here for you, and we are so happy to see you and have you with us.
You guys,
and also real quick, if you guys are out there in California, Southern California, I hope everybody's okay. I heard there was a big earthquake out there today, and there's certain places are having a lot of fires and landslides and shit like that. So
damn, I didn't know that. I need to call my brother.
Yeah, no, I watched CNN earlier, and I thought they were going to be talking about Trump's rally with all the tanks and stuff, but they were just talking about rock slides.
Where in California did you say this was?
I think it's called Rockledge or Rock something.
Whereabouts?
It's it's maybe 100 miles north of LA.
Okay,
I think.
All right.
So it's still technically Southern California, but it's like California's so big,
right. Okay.
But
And AJ, what have you been up to, man? Talk to me.
Oh, nothing, just been, of course, playing lots of games, trying to, checking out new stuff. Actually started some online classes again.
Shit, what are you taking, man?
Just finishing up one of my degrees in computer information systems, trying to get that finished. So
that's a good one, dude. That's a good one to have.
Yeah, it was something that I had started and then never got to finish. So I ended up getting a career that was taking up all my time. So I wanted to jump back in and finish that. So been working on that on the side. Of course, PSVR is my life that I live and breathe. Real quick shout out to Johnny Ripop, the Stray Cat. He says a shout out to my fellow mods and the great work they do. Why?
There is
shout-outs going.
I don't understand. He had a stroke at the end.
Thank you.
All right, Johnny. I hope you're okay.
Thank you so much.
Been doing that. Of course, that's been taking up all my little free time I have. But everything's been good. New job has been going well, and doing the classes, and of course on top of that, been just playing the hell out of some PSVR games, and very badly wanting to play a few flat screen games that I'm so mad that I have to pass on.
You should. You don't have to pass, man. Just do it.
I look, man. I kind of do.
That's self-imposed. If you want to play Bloodstained, you fucking go play Bloodstained.
Well,
I'm playing Bloodstained. I got back into it.
Yes, even Brian he doesn't have time for anything.
And I got the Switch version, so
Oh god, the worst possible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's good. It's good. It took me a little while to get into it, but I'm liking it. I just play it in very small bursts. Usually like a half an hour before bed.
Since we're talking about Switch, I know we haven't said anything about anything VR yet. Okay. But if you have a Switch, or if anybody else out there has a Switch, as I do, Super Mario Maker 2 is a ton of fun. I'm loving Super Mario Maker 2.
Go play Dave's level.
Honestly, I don't even know if it's good, but I spent time making it. So yeah, no. I posted it on Twitter, but yeah, it's a great one. Anyways, let's keep going.
Nice.
What? I'm too drunk.
Taco.
Who says I'm too drunk? Marvelous, get out of here.
He's a little drunk. I think that's.
I'm not that drunk.
I mean,
It's 4th of July. I'm celebrating my independence from being sober.
I'm not sure that's
Not how it works.
Nope.
Yeah.
But yeah, man. What about you, Brian? How's everything with you?
Yeah, I mean, other than doing a little bit of Bloodstained, I need to clean this place up a little bit. We do have a visitor coming in from out of town. I don't think he's revealed who he is yet, but Jeremy's gonna see him, and I'm gonna see him.
Right?
And
It's Nathy.
and we're gonna spend a little time with our special visitor. Means for the first time in a long time, someone other than Des and Jeremy is gonna enter my apartment, which means I got to clean it up because it's embarrassing. Like, it's really embarrassing. So I got to do that. But also, in the meantime, while I've been drinking coffee and just trying to get some sleep, I've been watching a lot of Schitt's Creek, and I got to say, I didn't want to watch it because of the title alone. Like, I'm not a big dick and fart joke kind of guy. And so I was like, well, if this is like the kind of thing that they're advertising with the title of the show alone, I'm like, I'm not going to be into this. But
So how did you come to start watching it though? Like, for me, a show like that, I would just never even hit play on the first episode.
somebody at the restaurant, the last time I was at the restaurant, I was like waiting on this table, and we all seem to be on the same page, like talking about horror movies and this and that, whatever. And I kind of told them about, like, how I despise comedy and I really like stand-up comedy, and they were like, have you watched Schitt's Creek? And I was like, nope, I'm staying far away. And they're like, we actually think you'd like it. And it took me a month because I haven't been to the restaurant in a while, but finally I was like, I just need to put something on in the background. And then, like, before I knew it, I was hooked. I marathoned like the first 2 seasons in like 3 days.
Wow.
It's actually really funny. Yeah.
Huh. I've been doing that with The Americans, but that's not a funny show. It's like a suspense, like, drama spy show. But that show is fucking great. I've been blowing through that.
Right on.
Anyways, we should probably talk about VR.
Sure. And right before we do, we want to give a shout out to a Hobbit Game Cat. He says, Just Cause Pizza. Love you all. And he gives us a nice donation. Definitely want to
Pizza is always welcome
thank
here.
a Hobbit
Okay,
for his
I just want to say,
donation.
Justin, I'm allowing your comment, but you totally misspelled Schitt's Creek, and that's why it got tagged. That's why it got tagged.
That's all right. No one has it. No one
In
knows.
there.
No one knows. All right, guys, we got a ton of PlayStation VR news to kind of dig our way through. So why don't we get this show rolling the way we start every show? I don't know. We need like a theme song for the breaking news. AJ.
Time for some.
Oh no, that's totally that's a totally different show.
That's why I wasn't gonna do that.
That's such a Beyond thing.
Wait, Shats 79, the Game Cat, $10 donation says, happy birthday, Wolfie Smith. So I think you're obligated to give this money to Wolfie.
I don't think that's a thing.
Because it's for him.
No.
It's clearly for him. I don't know, man.
He gave us $10 for you to give Wolfie Smith a shout out on his birthday. That's how this works.
Fair enough.
Beard of Power says, enters hanging my head in shame being English and all. Dude, put your head up, man. Put your head up. We're all family. We're all friends. No. This is a celebration of our family, and that includes everyone and everyone that's here right now. And yeah. But that was funny, Zelda.
You definitely trailed off at the end there. I thought it was going somewhere like real emotional and powerful.
I'm not good at.
I was just trying to make a joke, but I
couldn't even tell a good speech if I spent like 3 days writing it. So
I'm so glad we hired you for the channel.
Well,
this is
typically the thing is that other people write your speeches and then you just speak them.
He's not a president.
He could be.
Okay.
Guys.
So the first
AJ,
news story of the week, AJ, is what? Oh my god.
So, as per Upload VR and our good buddy Jamie Feltham over there doing great work as always, he was reporting on an article about Gran Turismo. They recently had an interview with, I don't think it was actually them that had the interview, but there was an interview done with Kazunori Yamachi from, what is it, Polyphony Digital?
Yeah, Polyphony.
And the creators of Gran Turismo. And he had some things to say, basically mentioned that the next Gran Turismo is in the works. And, he had some comments about how PSVR version 1 was a little bit, or Gen 1, I should say, was a little limited, and they had a lot of struggles. And this is going to be kind of touchy for some people, but they're basically hinting at there's going to be bigger, better things coming with PSVR for the new Gran Turismo. And like I said, there's kind of two sides to this. There's the people that are like, oh my God, like I can't wait for the new Gran Turismo, most likely having PSVR support. I'm sure it's going to have better graphics, better multiplayer, or just multiplayer. And then there's the others that are like, I don't trust a word this guy says until, they show us something.
Well, so the interesting thing to me about that article, I read it too, and it wasn't specifically that he was saying Gran Turismo is going to be improved by PS5 in VR. He said all games in VR will, like, the biggest improvement that we'll see from the PS5 is not on a flat screen. It's to the VR experience. So, like, he's essentially saying, like, if you've got a 4K TV and a Pro already, you're not going to see a huge upgrade. But if you have a VR headset, you might see a huge upgrade. And that's pretty awesome to know that somebody who already kind of tried their hand at VR and sort of backpedaled a little bit, didn't go all the way, is saying, like, we feel confident that next gen, it's going to be awesome. So, yeah, I think it's not just them. I'm sure a lot of developers feel that way.
Okay.
I'm done.
I was confused. I was confused a little bit. And this is just good news in general, right? Like because obviously Gran Turismo is one of those games that everybody really wanted to have, like, the full game in VR
Absolutely.
mode. The biggest downside is that, like, we don't have any kind of multiplayer or anything outside of, as AJ was talking about, maybe
the graphics aren't that bad, but the multiplayer is the big, and the limited modes and stuff like that is really what hurt it.
I will say
there's an interesting
thing. There's an interesting thing with Gran. Even though at launch it had content, they do keep adding levels and cars and stuff that you can access in the VR mode. And I feel like I see an update like every couple of weeks with new stuff. And I haven't kept up with it, but like if you're like JD Max or something, like that's cool that they've actually kept supporting it.
I get a lot of my updates through JD Max 1210, the game Cat, and I was watching him streaming some Gran Turismo, and he was actually talking to me about it. Like, I can't. So basically, they recently added the Red Bull 2019 concept car and a new track, and they also added a ghost mode. So it's one step closer to multiplayer. It's not multiplayer, but it's one step closer to where you can actually now race your friends' times, and you'll see the ghost of their car going down the tracks and stuff. And not only that, but you can race against like the best times in the world and stuff like that. So pretty cool. And he had mentioned, one step closer to multiplayer. And it was funny was I told him, I was like, PS5 is coming in the next year, most likely. And I think we all are kind of on the same page there. I think that's going to happen. So I'm excited that we can start talking about PS5. There's no reason to. I know there's a lot of stuff still coming for PS4 that we have plenty to look forward to, like No Man's Sky and Battle Wake, Undead Citadel, a lot of stuff. But it's going to be time to start talking about the different hardware, the ray tracing, the better hardware, more. Eventually, I think they're going to probably launch the PS5, and then a year or two down the line have the PSVR 2. And hopefully somewhere in between there we get some new controllers, because if you really think about a lot of the stuff they pulled off with PSVR 1, it's kind of a miracle. And it created a lot of evangelists like ourselves that are like, no, like I know it's early in the production and everything, but look at the capability, the possibilities that we have of what we can do just with this, kind of limited tech. Look how amazing it can still be.
Yeah, I think it'd be crazy to think that, with all the parties or all the first party studios that Sony owns, if every single one of them wasn't on board for VR next generation, I can totally understand where Sony was like, we got to focus on like the majority, we got to focus on like the 100 million people who have a PlayStation 4.
Absolutely.
But the fact is like now it's like it's not like do or die time, but like Sony needs to show that they're like, we are 100% all in, no questions asked. And like, so whatever Guerrilla's working on next, whatever, obviously Polyphony's definitely doing another Gran Turismo game. That's all they've ever really done.
Right.
Unless you played Omega Boost back in the day, but I mean, that was totally different.
Oh, wow.
Right?
I actually did.
Deep cut, right?
You're old.
If you don't have a PlayStation, if you've never played a PlayStation
It
1.
was like $6 or something. I got it for like $6. It actually was kind of okay.
Yeah, it was good. Nice space shooter.
They
But-
remastered it too, or they remade it for PS3. I
Did
think.
they really?
Something like that.
Oh man.
Yeah, I got it for like $6 on PS3 or PS4.
Or maybe it was like a PlayStation
It was
Classic or
okay.
something.
It was like generic.
Yeah, it's all right. But yeah, no. So I really think that because of the immense power of PlayStation 5, Lloyd in the basement's going to be able to flick that switch faster than ever and make all games playable in VR. I think it's going to be. I think this is just the first step, or the first words we're hearing from first party studios saying exactly that. So I'm excited, man, because I think this is just like the very first line, the very first company line we're going to hear about this.
Yeah, it's going to be. I think next gen is actually going to be a huge step for PlayStation VR in general, and bringing it one step closer to mainstream. I think at the state it's in now, like us that are really dedicated and like love these new experiences. This is why we started playing VR in the first place, is because as much as I love a lot of these AAA titles that are coming to flat screen, it's just it's too much of a repetition kind of thing. And even some of these games that have limitations or here and there, it's like there's also games that are like AAA quality, but in terms of the games that are kind of limited in terms of like graphics or controls, stuff like that, it's just something I've never experienced before in my 20 whatever years of gaming. And to me it's that next step. It's just like the jump from going from 2D platformers to 3D platformers back in the day for me, or 2D to 3D graphics. And this is that next step.
I hope it's something like, as far as VR goes, like the jump from the Oculus Developers Kit that I first played around with, like my first ever VR experience.
The DK1.
From that to PSVR was a huge leap forward, like incredible leap forward. You can say what you want about the Move controllers.
No, you can't.
But
they're fine. Stop bitching.
They're fine. No, they're fine.
They're totally fine.
People should stop.
They're tricky though. I mean, look, if you're not somebody that's accustomed to learning advanced mechanics and going really deep into gameplay, and this doesn't just apply to PSVR. This applies to regular flat screen gaming as well. Not everybody plays every game to completion and finishes everything and goes. I mean, that's one thing about myself is I am kind of a completionist. Like I love. To me, you get the most experience out of a game having it on the highest difficulty, or finding all the secrets and Easter eggs and hidden gameplay mechanics in a game. That to me is just something I have to do to be satisfied. Without
I'm more like video games are flavors of ice cream, and I want to try one, but I may not decide to eat a whole cup of it,
which is fine.
A whole sundae, like. I like to experience everything, I guess, is my thing. Like, I'm not going to dedicate to one game all the time that I could spend trying out a bunch of other stuff that I'm interested in. But that's just how I am. Yeah.
I'm so excited I had an excuse to bring up this original PlayStation 3 Move debut trailer. People playing the fight. People playing. I want to say they showed the shoot and start the party and all sorts of awesome PlayStation 3 Move games.
I actually missed the PS3 Move era, because a lot of people talk about how they want like what's that game with?
Or you miss?
I missed it. I
did not experience it.
Did not have moves.
Oh man, I was at day one.
Me too.
And like as far as having like light gun games, or what is that game that everybody likes? Fuck.
Hold up.
It's a shooting game. It's a first-person shooter that everybody loved on the moves. Killzone, right?
Yeah, Killzone. And Resistance 3 had it too. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I love light gun games, so to me that sounds awesome. But I totally missed that era.
House of the Dead Overkill.
Yeah,
wow,
I know Brian. Yeah, go ahead. Give a quick shout out to Marvelous Mick.
This is because I was teasing Dave Station. Wasn't trying to be mean. That's perfectly fine, Marvelous. I don't even know what kind of money that is, but it's $75 worth of it, and I'm sure it's probably like $5.
Thanks so much, Marvelous.
Yeah, thank you so much. Marvelous Mike is awesome.
But Brian and I talk about this all the time, how we're big light gun guys. Yeah, you did miss out on a little bit. I will say I got the moves because of light gun gaming. That's I've always loved arcade shooters. And yeah, Resistance, Mag, Killzone, House of the Dead Overkill, Resident Evil Umbrella Chronicles.
Oh, both of the Resident Evil Chronicles were so
Were
good.
so good, man. And they actually followed the story, which was nice. But, you know, and that's actually a big reason I got into PSVR, is because that's where all these games that I love that were kind of niche, that's where all these went. And, you know, like I said, Rush of Blood was what sold me on PSVR. I was like, here are my arcade games, because I love arcade shooters.
Oh yeah, of course. I think all of us are in pretty much agreement here that any game like Time Crisis should exist, and we need more of them all the time.
And we had an amazing Time Crisis collection for the PlayStation 3 move too.
Yes.
The Rising.
Wait, are you serious?
Yeah, it was.
Because you're making me want to get a PS3 now.
Go do it.
I want to
Wait,
say
you don't
it
have
was-
your PS3 still?
I don't know.
I want to say it was Time Crisis. I think I got this wrong. Time Crisis 4, Time Crisis
yeah, I thought it
Rising.
was
There was like a new Time
Rising.
Crisis game.
Wait, so hold on. There was a PS3 version that included Time Crisis 4 because the arcade at the movie theater I go to has Time Crisis 3. So it's that old? Like
Yeah, well,
there
There was one.
Time
There was one
Crisis.
for PS3.
Time Crisis 4 came out on PS3 with
really?
with actual
a gun.
guns before the moves came
Yeah.
out, and then I think they re-released it in this collection with move support, and it also has never before released anywhere else Dead Storm Pirates, which is an awesome light gun game.
God, you guys are getting me so excited to buy a PS3 all of
Yeah.
a sudden. Fuck.
You need to check it out.
Certain PS3s can play PS1 games too, right?
The OG ones, yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna have to go.
Oh no, I'm sorry. They can all play PlayStation 1 games, but only the OG ones can play PlayStation 2.
PS2.
Right. It was like the 80 gig model or something, like 40 and 80 gig, I think, at the most.
I just want PlayStation 5 to be like, hey, if you spend an extra $100, it's backward
Rising
compatible with
Storm.
everything. Rising
Thank you,
Storm.
Quality.
Right.
Thank you.
Thank you. I was like, Raising Zan? What the hell is that?
Yeah, I knew you were close.
I think there's a PlayStation 2 game called like Rising Zen or something. But anyway, can we? Yeah, we got to move on.
Raising
guys.
Arizona, I'm pretty sure.
It's not. Right.
Yeah, so really looking forward to seeing more details on the PS5 as well as the new Gran Turismo. I know there's already a bunch of games in the works for PSVR 2, or obviously it's just going to be a PS5 VR game, but we have to assume that there's already a bunch of titles. So I can't wait to, as we get further and further down the line, to see how many more games come out. So next on the list, we have Firewall Zero Hour. Recently got a new update, and there's a couple items about this actually. So they have announced today that they are actually dropping the price to $20 permanently for Firewall Zero Hour. And I don't know if you guys have gotten to play it since update 1.29, but there's a new map called FOB, and there's a new character called Lynch that can self-revive. And I want to hear you guys' thoughts, but I do have a couple things to say. I've been playing this. I played several hours of this, and was having a blast with my good buddy Killatrix and the crew, Choppa and Wanted, and all those lovely
Firewall
people.
OGs. Firewall.
Yeah.
Real
Buffy dropped by to say hi. Those are my Firewall peeps. Everyone's my Firewall peeps, but I play with them a lot. And I got to check out the new map. Have you guys tried the new map? Yeah,
I did, and I have some thoughts for sure.
Me too.
Not a huge fan of the new map. I think
Really?
so what it seems like to me is that they took the lower area of docks, they added a bunch of sand, and that's it. Like, there's nothing new or exciting about it. It's hard to see. It resembles a lot of existing maps, and from the couple times that I played it, I wasn't really excited to have it the same way I was with the other new maps. It reminds me of the existing ones with just a coat of sandstorm on top, whereas some of the other newer ones they've released seem fresher to me. So I like Hangar better. I like what's the one?
Hangar's good, yeah.
What's the one in the
Containment?
Like the containment, yeah, the facility.
Containment was amazing. Yeah.
So as far as the three maps they've released, I think this is the weakest one, like by a decent margin. But I'm curious to hear what you guys think.
I don't have an opinion on this only because I haven't checked it out since the update. But I do
We'll have to drop in.
before I throw it back to AJ. I do want to give a shout out to Delirium Drew VR, the Game Cat. I almost said the underscore. I meant to say hashtag the Game Cat, but Jesus Christ. Yeah, thank you so much for the donation. He says, "Happy 4th of July, Brian, AJ, Dave, and the rest of you beautiful Game Cats."
Happy 4th to you, Del.
Yeah. Thank you so much for the donation, bud.
Thank you guys, and thank you for being here. It means a lot, man.
Yeah, I assumed no one would be here at all. I was like,
like I said,
to ourselves.
You guys are putting M80s in watermelons right now. I don't know why you're not.
I haven't done that in like 20 years, but that's okay. But yeah, so my thoughts on the new map. Level design wise, it's just okay. I agree with you that it doesn't really set itself apart in terms of level design. However, I really, really like the sandstorm effects, and it makes me speculate on what kind of other weather effects are going to be coming to this game. And like, I would love to see a stormy weather update, or like level with stormy weather, to have like, the rain reflecting off all the surfaces and stuff like that, because I think weather effects could be something that could be really cool in this game. I like it for the fact that it's got more variety. First, we had containment, which was a cool kind of facility / like zombie outbreak kind of level. Then we had the hangar, which was a daytime level, which was nice. Now we have FOV, which has the sandstorm and everything going on there. And like I said, I would love to see a stormy weather update, a level with like a stormy weather.
They should just license the lake from Catch and Release for a whole level.
Well, the thing that makes me wonder about that is, like, if you think about a game like Dirt Rally, like only on Pro could it support rain. If you play it on OG, it can't. There's no rain in that game. It doesn't drip on your windshield. It doesn't lay on anything. Yeah. It doesn't. There is no weather effect. And so I wonder if, like, Sandstorm is easy to render because it just obscures everything that you have to render. If you're doing a rainstorm and you're talking about reflecting off of stuff and making it look wet, I don't know if the OG PS4 could pull that off, and I'm not sure they would do that. But
probably have to be kind of downgraded because, you're right. The sandstorm effects and stuff, it's a little downgraded. You can tell.
I feel like it only makes it easier to render the level if you have a sandstorm because there's not as much you have to show at any given time.
Like draw distance wise.
Yeah,
it actually is pretty impressive though. I mean, it's funny how they did it. It's pretty dynamic in the way they did it, in the fact that stuff up close you can see really well, and then in the distance you can't see anything. But they have like the player markers with the red arrows that you can see those, and then you see like a faint shadow moving in the distance. So it was done pretty well, all things considered. And I don't know how the OG would handle it. I don't know what it looks like on an OG, but on the Pro, I really like the idea. I want to see more variety to the levels. To be honest with you, there's not a single map I don't like in Firewall.
Docks. What about Docks? It's trash.
Docks is my favorite level. How many times do I have to tell you that?
Are you kidding? I feel like every time you say this, I have to.
Docks is my favorite level by far.
What do you like about Docks so much?
That's some real un-American stuff to say on July
Docks
4th.
is, I find it to be one of the most up and seeing like the boats and everything. That also is a really tough level. It's a really challenging level.
Yeah, that's why it sucks.
That doesn't mean it sucks. That means it's challenging. Some people like a challenge in video games.
Yeah.
Wow.
People certainly do.
I think AJ just bitch slapped you.
No, I mean, I know AJ is the guy.
I
have a good time.
I do like to have a good time, but I do like a challenge as well. Sometimes, like, as long as it's fair, I like a challenge. I don't like an unfair challenge by any means. Like, I like balance, and to me, it's a little depending on where you spawn in that map, it's a little unbalanced. But for the most part, I like the challenge of it, and I like that level overall. Containment is also one of my favorites as well. It's just something so immersive about those two levels to me, versus the other ones. But the other thing with the update is Lynx, the new contractor. And he has basically the self-revive guy. And I had a problem with this at first. I was like, why would you have something that, everything has been mostly cosmetic, but after playing, I didn't actually mind playing against people with Lynx as much, because they have a chance to, if you go down, you hold X and then you can self-revive. And Killatrix was telling me if you have like the quick revive on, that you can actually self-revive faster. But for the most part, people usually don't get much of a chance to self-revive. However, if you kill them from a distance and you don't take them out, they can pop back up again, and there's something kind of scary about it. Like you're unsure whether or not they're going to pop up again, and I like that for some reason, and I liked it more than I thought I was going to.
I was kind of underwhelmed by it. I played with people who had it on. Obviously, I don't have the season pass, so I didn't get it. I'll have to wait till the end of the season to unlock that perk, unless I win Petrifying Pumpkins giveaway for the season pass, which I entered because I don't want to spend my money on that. Anyways, let's continue. I think that I forgot what I was saying.
Perfect. Time to move on.
Yep. But yeah, new firewall update, $20 permanent price drop. Good for them. It's a nice little thing. Definitely check it out. Next, we have Perk Games has a lot going on as always. They've got Sairento coming out soon. They're basically going to be attending the Gamescom 2019, and they're going to be doing another showcase. We got to see their showcase in coordination with Upload VR, and Perp is going to be doing another showcase at Gamescom 2019. They're going to be showing more of like The Walking Dead and The Wizards, Dark Times, and much more. They also have I'm basically hoping that we just see more gameplay and stuff for those games, maybe a little bit more information on them, more release dates, stuff like that. Also stuff like, Acron, stuff we've already seen is going to be there. So hoping to see some more. But Perp Games also has a contest going on, guys, where it closes July 10th, and you can win basically every physical release, I believe, from 2019 that they're going to be releasing. And you basically have to just go to perpgames.com and leave a message there saying what is your favorite moment from a Perp Games title, like a physical edition game that they have that you played. For me, I actually entered just for fun, and I think I was the first one actually. And I told them,
I can't wait to hear this. What was your favorite moment?
My favorite Perp Games moment was the cemetery in Ghost Giant.
I was going to say, for mine, it's when I put VR carts into a trash can and burned it with gasoline.
Nice. I will say that for mine, even though there's been Perp Games has published so many good PSVR games, I will say that mine is from very recent memory when I finally learned to do a flip in Sairento.
Yes.
And then I learned to upgrade my abilities to double jump and then double flip and then triple jump and triple flip and quadruple jump and quadruple flip, and you can just stay in the air forever. And I was like, you know what? That is probably that's just an amazing moment in a Perp game.
It's one of my most favorite locomotion systems I've ever seen in VR. Like, I don't want to do free locomotion in that game. Barely ever, because I want to be sliding and jumping and flipping and hopping off the wall, and just it's so much fun.
It's complicated at first, but man, is it rewarding to learn. And yeah, I've been absolutely loving it. And just like you said, to me, it's very much like I was talking to, it may have even been Duran. That was when I was playing it. They were commenting about it, and they were mentioning Devil May Cry. And look, it is nothing like Devil May Cry. Nope. Don't get the wrong impression. However, those that liked Devil May Cry for the deep combat mechanics like I did, where they have all these different weapons to choose from, and you basically, the fun in the game was mastering these things. It's easy to learn, hard to master. And that's kind of the deal with Sairento, where, like you said, you can bounce off walls, flips, shoot, change different weapons. We learned that you can take using the upgrades and abilities, you can add like a plasma or a blade wave where you can charge your swords and then shoot like a wave, just like the enemies do.
Yeah, there's like skill trees where you upgrade and you put points in every time you level up, and you can choose what you want to get. There's different categories like movement, attacking, certain weapons you can buff.
In terms
it's really
of combat,
deep, actually, surprisingly.
In terms of combat, it might, unless I can one, it's probably my favorite combat system in a VR game as of right now. It's just the combat is so good, and it rewards you more and more for getting better and better at it.
And part of the reward is just having so much fun. Like, just it's
Right.
so rewarding in itself to jump around and slice a guy and see him. His body flies over there, his arm is over there, and there's a fountain of blood, and you're just flipping away from him, and it's incredible. I just love that.
It's so gory.
It's one of my favorite. It's one of my favorite games.
Like because you can totally just go in guns blazing and like use the full locomotion system,
absolutely,
and just walk around and shoot people and like slow time and stuff in case you're getting hurt. It's like you can totally do that, but man, like.
But you're a ninja. You're a fucking ninja. Act like it.
like Dave, when you and I were playing, you were like, "Man, you gotta learn this slide. You gotta learn this slide." And it's like, so like when you're, when you jump or double jump or whatever, when you land, you hold square, I think it is, on your left move controller, and then you kind of slide in that same direction. And if you learn to turn around before you land, and then hit the square, then suddenly you're sliding backwards, and you can still be shooting or doing whatever, and hit the slow motion button. And it's like, and at first I was like, I don't really see the point in sliding. But then
sliding is incredible.
It's so good.
But then I realized
you don't
it's
need
like
to walk if you slide.
This is true. It is. I kind of like. I think the Devil May Cry comparison is awesome because that was all about stylish action.
Right.
Oh yeah. But then the slide for me was sort of like that thing when they added a manual to Tony Hawk games, where it's like suddenly like you're doing all these things and then you're able to like link. All of your combos together into one massive, amazing, seamless action scene.
Absolutely.
And you're like, holy crap. So like,
it's so good.
So it took me a little while to learn it, but man, once I did, I was like, I love just like linking all of these together and like just not, and like when you can be off the ground for like almost a full minute, I'm like, this is beautiful.
Oh, you can be off the ground the entire time. I do want to give a quick shout out to Triangulator, who's in the chat. He was actually the one that pointed out to me. He was like, dude, add some upgrades. And he pointed out that the Blade Wave was there. So what's up, dude? Thank you.
Well, so that's one thing that should be well known to everybody before you even get the chance to buy Sairento, because nobody does yet. But basically, there are skills, there are upgrades, there's customizations for every weapon. You have like 20 weapons that you can customize. But the game doesn't tell you about all this stuff.
Right.
There's just a menu that has all these options, and if you fiddle around long enough, you'll find the skills menu, or you'll find the upgrade menu. And
the tutorial was
it's not as obvious as I thought it would be. So just
the tutorial tells you how to jump and shoot, and that's pretty much it.
Yeah, there's stuff you want to dig for that's in there that makes the game really kind of robust, like having all those different weapons, all the upgrade systems, all that stuff. But you wouldn't know it if you just played, arcade mode a few times and, whatever.
I mean, there's armor stuff. So you get these things called relics. And there's basically loot in the game. And you get loot in the form of relics. And each one of these relics you can add to your weapons and armor. You actually have armor that you can add these relics to as well. And they give you extra XP, extra damage, just all sorts of stuff, and even changing the colors, just like cosmetic stuff. So, I was trying to make the Beat Saber swords with the plasma plates. I wanted like one red one and one blue one.
That would be fucking awesome.
I don't have it just yet, but I'm gonna get there. But yeah, it's pretty amazing, guys. It's a pretty incredible game in terms of the combat, and it's just a lot of fun, and it's cyberpunk.
In recent memory, I can't think of any other game that I recommend harder than Sairento.
Yeah, like since Blood and Truth, maybe.
Since Immortal Legacy.
I like it better. I like it better than Blood and Truth.
I will say
it's more fun to play moment to moment once you get the hang of it than Blood and Truth. I think Blood and Truth has some great set pieces. It's an awesome. I mean, most people will be more blown away probably by Blood and Truth.
Right. I think Blood and Truth has a wider appeal.
Absolutely. Yeah.
But for those of us that want something like Sairento, like it's gonna deliver what you want.
You gotta have it. If you've ever loved Tenchu or any like Ninja Gaiden, Shinobi, anything like that, if you've ever wanted to be a ninja,
Look at AJ.
Fucking buy Sairento. It's incredible.
Oh man, you missed it. AJ's face was frozen. It was awesome.
Oh no.
Yeah, no, you're making a great face when you froze. You're all better now. It's okay.
Um,
Listen, real quick on.
Yeah.
I think the big difference between people's impressions of Blood and Truth and Sairento is gonna be twofold. And I think the first thing is the graphically, Blood and Truth is beautiful, and Sairento looks like you're playing like a pretty janky PS2 game. When you actually look at structures and when you actually look at the geometry, you're like, this is really basic.
Yeah, I mean, I like the
It has its
design
moments.
of the level. Like, it does nails the cyberpunk thing fairly well for the most part, I think, as far as art design.
Absolutely.
And once you're jumping and backflipping and all this shit, you don't really notice.
Well, and that's the other part of it, is that I think Blood and Truth right out of the gate is like, here's the things you can do, check it out,
Really
and it's awesome.
polished.
But man, but then Sairento forces you to learn a lot of things, and just going through the campaign, which doesn't take very long. There's like 10 missions, and they're all like 20 minutes maximum each. You can get through the campaign fast, and the campaign's kind of boring. In my book, unlike Blood and Truth.
Yeah, the campaign is the worst part of the game.
Yeah, and I was like,
wait, are you saying on Blood and Truth?
No,
on Sairento.
Like,
oh, you just said Blood and Truth a second ago, so I wasn't.
Well, he's
sure.
comparing.
I say
so.
unlike Blood
Okay,
and Truth.
gotcha.
Sairento's
Unlike.
campaign is like super boring, and it's like you just like mission after mission. It's a little bit of dialogue, and you're just like, this is
Yeah, I mean,
totally
there's no way to
forgettable.
compare the two.
I
That's
get
like
it.
one's like a Hollywood production, and the other one's like
But the-
a creative writing project.
But the campaign also
Like
doesn't
in
teach you all the
college,
things you like know you need to know to have fun with the game, right?
it
Before
doesn't. No, it doesn't.
So you really have to take it upon yourself to like dive deep into the systems and the mechanics and like learn it for yourself. Whereas Blood and Truth is just like, here we go. It's just all out there for you. And which
Yeah, I mean,
Blood and Truth. Blood and Truth is a lot more cinematic. Like it's
Of
this
course,
whole
yeah, for sure.
cinematic experience. It's much like playing an action movie, while Sairento is much more like a simulation of going into the Matrix every 10 minutes and doing another training simulation. And like what Brian was saying about the campaign, to its credit, it actually had a little bit more like story and voice acting than I thought it would.
Yeah, me too, actually. Yeah.
But the level design of the campaign is very short. I mean, you can finish each level in the campaign in like 5 or 10 minutes, and if even. And once you get to the challenges, the missions, the like endurance and survival, purge, elimination, all these different modes that continue after doing one thing, that's where it really shines. And in terms of the level design, there's a lot of variety to it. And it's kind of hit and miss, but it's designed so well that you really don't care. Like, you only notice that the graphics are kind of in the beginning of the story. It seems like a little bit, but then as you play through different levels, you're like, oh, well, this actually looks kind of great in certain parts. Like I love like that little tree that's sitting there in the middle of the room. I don't know. There's certain things that look really good in the game.
Well, so one thing that I'm seeing in the chat, and I kind of agree, as far as like experience versus game, Blood and Truth is more of an experience because so much of it is based on that sitting there, being in the cinematic moment. Right. Big set pieces that you have literally nothing to do with controlling. You just sort of do this at the right time and grab on the thing. Whereas Sairento, there is no cinematics. It's entirely action gameplay.
Right.
You are in control of everything.
Right.
So I can see that appealing to certain different kinds of players over Blood and Truth. Whereas Blood and Truth would appeal to a lot of people, otherwise. So I don't know.
I think Blood and Truth is a little bit more mainstream because it kind of ties in the gameplay, the focus. One thing I will say that I loved about Sairento as well, though, is that I don't know if you guys got to test out any like the sniper weapons or anything, but you can actually aim down the sights, which is really cool.
No, I've never used any sniper. I use machine guns and shotguns. That's the only thing I've
There is a sniper rifle in the game that just wrecks people. And
really?
And you can actually look down the sights on it, and it works.
Can you use it while you're doing a backflip?
Yes.
You can. That sounds incredible.
You can do a backflip, aim down the sights, shoot their head off. Like, I also love like how you can chop people in half and decapitate them. I was going around with the little shurikens and like slicing people's heads off with the little shuriken. You have that crazy giant boomerang shuriken with the thing.
Yeah, the glaive.
Yeah, the glaive, which is tough to use, but the tracking is so much better than like Super Hot, to where it's not like you just have to like push it forward. It's like you can fling it however you want to, but you have to be pretty precise, in terms of getting it. But yeah, absolutely awesome game. And the soundtrack too. Soundtrack's pretty good.
And just a heads up, it looks like it's even though it's like $30 on Steam, it looks like it's going to be $40 on PlayStation VR.
Really?
I was a little surprised by that
$40?
because to me this game seems like an amazing $20 game. It seems like a really good $30 game, and when I keep seeing the price $40, I'm like it's a good $40 game.
When you think about the games that have come out at $40 that have already been too highly priced, but like say Archangel is a great game. But it was $40, and as a $40 game, Sairento is a better $40 game than Archangel.
Absolutely.
But it's kind of debatable if it's going to be.
I thought it was 30. That's a little
Archangel or Sairento.
No, Sairento. I would still pay 40. I still am fine with the $30 price tag.
Yeah.
But for $40, I would want a little bit more story or campaign with it,
or a little more graphic fidelity, like something a little more polished.
But that's a little disappointing. However, it's still, I think, worth the $40. In my opinion, I think it's pretty much worth it for me. I would not regret a single thing paying $40 for it.
And I got a question in the chat from Tristan. Have you played it on the Quest? So I actually haven't played it on the Quest yet, but one thing that anybody should know out there, if you have both systems and you're considering like, should I get it on the Quest? Should I get it on the PSVR? It's only $15 on Quest, but it's not the same game. It doesn't have the campaign. It has no co-op. And it's like 5 levels that they designed specifically for Quest. But, as far as comparing the two, it's a much cheaper version, but it's super kind of dumbed down in terms of what you can do in it.
Gotcha.
That said, I still want to try it out. I mean, I'd like to see new levels designed from the ground up for Quest, which is what they did. But PSVR is the better package overall, for sure.
We took sorry.
Apparently, I'm saying Shuriken or Shuriken.
It's Shuriken.
Shuriken.
Yeah.
I'm thinking I'm confusing it with Street Fighter.
Hadouken.
Hadouken.
That's a Shoryuken.
Yeah.
Is that the spinning? That's the spinning kick, right?
Oh, that's gonna be hard.
Shoryuken.
I'm gonna have to like reprogram my brain for that one because I'm just gonna want to say Shuriken.
All right, guys. I know we took a slight detour here when we started talking about Sairento. We were only supposed to talk about like our favorite perp games moment, but we totally dove into Sairento big time.
We're diving into it.
So let's continue. We've got a whole list of things to talk about as far as news goes. So let's move on to our next news story, AJ.
Okay, number 4. All right, my video game that I for Vertigo Home is actually releasing their soundtrack. It's available on Spotify and iTunes, and I know this may seem silly to bring up, but believe it or not, I get questions all the damn time about when is this? Yes, about
I said the same thing.
When is Vertigo Home gonna get its soundtrack? And yeah, it's available now. I think it was delayed like a month or something, but yeah, such hits as "It's Not a Toy." And,
it's not a toy. Yeah, no, I mean, some of those songs, man. I will say, when they announced it, they said, like, the critically acclaimed soundtrack for Vertigo Home, and I was like, who said this was a great soundtrack?
It was AJ.
Apparently, people have, yeah.
I actually really like the soundtrack in the game.
It's weird. It's certainly weird. I like it.
There's actually, like, 1 or 2 songs that I actually did like I would listen to outside of it. But, I don't know. That's like saying I like Beat Saber outside of playing Beat Saber, which I
honestly really like. I'll be there.
Don't care for a lot of
music.
music.
Got stuck in my head so many times, and
I would not listen.
I've listened to it outside of the song, outside of the game. I like it. I don't know.
I'll start making fun of it then.
Brody hates the music. It's not a toy.
You can't make fun of that song. It's not a toy.
Do you guys ever watch Strong Bad on HomestarRunner.com?
Absolutely. No.
Yeah.
What? How are you? Are you 12? What happened?
Because Vertigo Home soundtrack very frequently reminds me of Strong Bad making fun of techno music, which is just the funniest thing. He just starts creating the loops like ba-da-da-bum, ba-da-da-bum, ba-da-da-bum. It's just the funniest fucking thing ever. Other than Consummate Bees, it's the funniest Strong Bad thing I've ever seen. All right, so Vertigo Home has a soundtrack coming when, AJ?
I think it's available now, and it's available on Spotify and iTunes, so check
Stop watching and go listen.
Don't stop watching. Just open another window. It's very easy. Right?
Play it over us so you can just look at our beautiful faces.
All right, what else we got?
Everyone's like, it's
News.
horrible.
Give us the
news.
news. Give us the news.
For everyone not aware, there's a game that recently had a Kickstarter, and I believe it's already been funded, and it's called Last Labyrinth VR, and it's going to be an escape the room puzzle kind of game.
I love those. I can't wait to have more of those.
This game is a little interesting to me. I think, yeah, I don't know if this one's going to end up good or bad, but there's a lot of buzz about this game. There's a lot of support for it, and it's going to follow. There's a character called Katia, and the girl's voice is actually done by Stephanie Houston, who did Quiet in Metal Gear Solid. So she's kind of a big deal, man.
Is she going to be wearing a shoestring?
No. She looks much different. She does have some kind of string or something wrapped around her hands, though. But no, this is an interesting game that's been getting a lot of buzz, and they're actually in Tokyo at the PlayStation Matsuri 2019 on July 15th. They have a special demo that people can play. You do have to pre-register though, so for everybody watching out in Tokyo, hello and welcome. Thank you for joining us.
Konnichiwa.
And konnichiwa. And get pre-registered and go try out that special demo. It makes you wonder if there's going to be a demo for this game in the U.S. or if it's because it's. Well, I hope so too, but I kind of don't think so because it was a Kickstarter project.
I doubt it too because I mean, so many games have demos at trade shows and stuff, but that doesn't mean there's a public demo that you can download. I mean, very few games get an actual downloadable public demo versus what you show off at a trade show. Like Blood and Truth doesn't have one, but it did at trade shows. So
right. And they're saying special demo makes me think that maybe not.
Here's my concern with this. Up until recently, I was very excited for this game. I like that it kind of has a little bit of a scary vibe going on. You're in these kind of like deception-esque rooms, and you're telling this. It seems like you're commanding this little girl and like telling her, "Oh, go pull that switch, go do this, and go do that." Until Tale of a Fragmented Star came out, and I was like, I don't want to be stuck anywhere with a little girl telling her what to do ever again, because it was the worst 4 hours of my life. And then
Project Lux right after that, and you had to fucking sit through that thing too.
See, at least Project Lux, you could literally take off the headset and the game would just run its course all on its own for the most part, right? Like you didn't have to pay attention to it. But Tale of a Fragmented Star doesn't do anything.
Occasionally you have to look at a staircase or something.
4 times you just have to go, oh, okay, now the game's taken care of. Yeah. Okay, good. So, but Tale of a Fragmented Star doesn't do anything until you tell this girl to like do stuff, and it very much is like an escape room style game on a star or whatever. And
this game has clearly scarred you.
Oh my god, absolutely. Right. If VR makes everything,
it costs $25. $25.
Yeah.
Well, we kickstarted it. Which one?
Not this one. No, we're talking about Tale of Fragmented Star.
And Project Lux while we're at it.
Project Lux.
You can spend $50 and get the worst time of your life times 2. So I'm just a little bit concerned because I realize, I understand that developers, when they're like, oh, we're going to make a VR game, how can we eliminate this whole motion sickness thing? How can we, you can just sit here in a chair and tell someone else what to do. And I'm like, that's cool. And I can totally get behind that if it works well. But unfortunately, there are so many things that can go wrong with that I didn't realize until recently. And so now that I've seen how horribly wrong it can go, I'm really nervous for this game, and I hope it's better than it.
Well, yeah, and one thing I want to say to people out there, like Japanese story-based
Dude, I didn't hear anything you just said. Can you?
Oh, that's fine. Yeah, can you hear me now?
Yeah, you're just cutting out a little bit.
Yeah, that's fair. So I was just saying to anybody who actually likes visual novels and that kind of thing,
yeah.
Project Lux isn't really that much like one because you just sit in one location and nothing ever changes. In visual novels, there's multiple scenes with different people talking. In this, it's just one scene, one person talking.
In visual novels, really just generally have a better story because this story was garbage.
With some form of interactivity and branching paths with multiple endings. What makes them fun for people because it's like a choose your own adventure with anime thrown in. But Project Lux is not that.
Wait, is someone defending Project Lux? I want to check the chat out because I had no idea that was happening.
Oh, I don't know. he says Lux is what you don't do with VR.
Oh yeah.
But I will say, if that is the kind of thing you like, Midnight Sanctuary is $10, and it has a much more varied set of environments. It's not the greatest game in the world, but if you like visual novels, don't buy Project Lux. Buy Midnight Sanctuary instead.
Midnight Sanctuary is not bad.
It's not great.
It's not bad
for $10 versus $25.
You definitely get some game time out of it.
The variety in what you see, and just the actual gameplay, choosing different parts of town that you want to investigate, and like all that kind of stuff. Like, it's got an actual more of a game in there. So if you're one of those weebs out there,
shout out to Johnny Rypop the Stray Cat. He gives us a donation.
What was that, Dave? It's like a whoop.
A small refund, whoop, whoop. Brian, for playing Lux, so we didn't have to. Thanks for taking the bullet, man. Yeah, for anyone who doesn't know, I actually paid like around $60 for Project Lux because I bought the digital version and I had already pre-ordered the physical on limited run games.
That's fucking rough.
Hey,
man.
But you know what the great thing about limited run games is? They're limited run, and people actually want those for collector's sake. Right. So I can actually sell it when it shows up and help fund the channel. So it won't be the worst thing.
I don't think I mentioned this before. I don't know if I had already ordered it by then, but there was an Accounting Plus limited edition. It's like $75. Did I say this last GameCast?
I'm pretty sure. The Accounting
okay, well then I won't say it again.
I
won't say it again. All right. Well, anyways, I got my first limited run game, and it was Accounting Plus.
Nice. Yeah, it's like a cool box too, right?
I think the first one I didn't buy.
It comes with like a plush of a tree guy, and if you squeeze it, it has voice lines that are recorded.
Oh, nice.
And the thing for me is that it comes with a soundtrack CD, which I actually kind of like the soundtrack for some of the songs, at least on Accounting Plus. Like, I've used them in my own videos and
cartoony
stuff. No, it's pretty cool. I like, they did a good job on the soundtrack, I think. So I'm looking forward to it.
Nice. And time to move along to our next news story. AJ, what do you got for us?
So next up, Sniper Elite VR. We got some new stuff to talk about there. Not a whole lot, but just a little bit. Some funny stuff. They were recently named in PlayStation Magazine in the UK, which is really popular. It's like the #1 PlayStation magazine. That they were the #1, or they were named best PSVR shooter. And they recently had a demo that was at E3. We've been hearing nothing but great things. I know I'm excited about this game.
Yeah.
They just are gushing and gushing about how this is like the definitive shooter for PlayStation VR. And they were mentioning things like, when you hold the scope up to your eye, like how good it feels, and that the scope actually enlarges when you get it close to it. And they had a contest at E3 that was keeping track of, as you do a playthrough, how many testicle shots you could get in a playthrough. And they were having like a contest and keeping track of that.
Boy, I missed that altogether.
Testicle shots are very popular in Sniper Elite.
Testicle shots means something very different to me. It's sort of like a variation of dick pics.
No. This is
all.
shooting somebody in the testicles. Is it's a fun Sniper Elite thing. Inside joke. Real quick, Just Incredible VR, my dude, says $10 towards the Project Lux fund for Brian. Happy 4th. Happy 4th to you, brother.
Yo, I over on my screen it says somebody different. Oh wow, hold on. We missed Rhodey's. Right above it. Rhodey also gave a $10 donation saying, towards the therapy Brian is going to need after having to play Project Lux and Tale of Fragmented Star. And as AJ already said, shout out to Just Incredible VR. Also, thank you guys very, very much. You're all very much appreciated.
Yeah. Thank you guys for all being here, man. Spending your 4th of July with us. I mean, you are our family. So
where did Dave go?
This is how I spend time with family. I don't know. Dave always does that kind of thing.
In action. Oh! He's back. Yeah. Dave, we were worried about you, man. Please tell me you were gone to greet the pizza guy. It's the only exception you're allowed to.
No, I typed it in the chat.
I'm really excited to play Sniper Elite. I really want like a good shooter like this, and I think it's going to deliver like another Blood and Truth. But this is like a full game. Like they're talking about like this is, we don't have to worry about it being a limited experience or anything. This is a full game that's going to be very cinematic, very good gameplay, gunplay. Remember, like I said, it supports the aim, the moves, the DualShock 4, so different options. They have every comfort options. I got to commend these guys at Rebellion for a comment that they made that if a game is already being held back because of you're not comfortable to play it, then you failed. And I think that's a great quote.
Yeah.
That's not a direct quote, but it was something along those lines of having options, comfort options, removing comfort options, so that anybody and everybody, no matter how you like to play, you're having a good time. And good on them for being aware of that, because a lot of developers we know are not aware of that sometimes.
Yeah. Also, buy a name controller. Just buy a name controller. Stop complaining about everything and just buy a name controller, because
you have Farpoint, you have Firewall, you have
Arizona Sunshine, you've got
Crisis
Brookhaven,
Brigade.
Crisis Brigade. Yep.
Lots
Evasion, if that's your thing. If it happens to be. There are so many good games that use the aim, and lots more on the way. You can even use it with Scraper, which I don't actually recommend because I don't know, because the move controls are the way to go with that.
I would wait though, because
we're gonna have a big Scraper discussion, right?
We have a big.
That's the main course.
Is that the main course?
And you might be surprised what Dave has to say about the aim.
I don't know what Dave has to say about Scraper at all, but first and foremost, we want to give a shout out to Wolfie Smith, the Game Cub birthday boy. Another donation. He says, on behalf of Still Time. Apparently Still Time wanted to donate, I'm guessing.
What's up, Still Time?
I have to go back and see.
He gave Wolfie £2 so he could...
Oh, Still Time said, I asked to donate, but my dad said no, I'm sorry.
Oh, no.
You know what we should do for everyone who's a little low on cash in the chat? We should give away the first Cave Digger.
Oh, do you want to do it?
Yeah.
I'm ready.
Let's give it away.
Ready.
All right,
wait. But Beard of Power also just donated £5 himself. Beard of Power 666.
I keep
the Demon Spawn himself has given us $5 in UK bucks, which is more than $5.
$5 in UK bucks. I don't think that's how it's said.
That's what I call it.
Thank you very much, Beard of Power 666. All right, let's give away our first of 4 Cave Digger North American review keys. Who is our first winner? Dave Station VR.
Our first winner is going to be a man named Anthony Liu. L-U-U. Anthony Liu?
Anthony
if you're watching.
Liu.
Anthony Liu.
Congratulations, Anthony Liu.
Congratulations, Anthony.
We should do the second one now, too, because we're already an hour in.
All right, let's do the second one while we're at it, man. Let's make this a special moment.
Number 2, Levi Covey. Levi Covey.
How you spell Covey?
C-O-V-E-Y.
All right. So
Levi Covey.
So to Anthony and to Levi, thank you, and congratulations to both of you. Make sure, here's the thing, I will respond to both of your comments underneath PSVR this week, but if you get there before me and get to your comment, just leave your PSN name. Oh, no, that's right. They already left their PSN names because I'm smart about this.
You're one step ahead of them.
I totally remembered to do it this week.
You
can just send it to him. You don't even have to.
Right, so keep an eye on your PlayStation Network messages, and I will send you a message after the GAMESCAST, and I will send you the key immediately following this.
Congrats, guys! We still got 2 more keys to give away, right?
That's right.
At some point,
we do indeed.
We'll do that closer to the end of the show.
Should I? One of these days, I need to give away my physical.
Oh, I wish I knew what you were saying. Physical copy of what?
Everybody's Golf. I've got sitting on my shelf here.
Yeah,
I bought it digital.
You should give that away.
Yeah, I think it's unwrapped. I mean, it's in the wrapper, like it's brand new.
I mean, I don't think anyone's concerned. Like, if it was out of the wrapper, it might be worth more to them. Maybe they want some Dave Station VR hair in their game.
I actually did a giveaway for Drive Club VR, which I had for like 2 years at that point.
Yeah.
And it was totally opened. I had played it a million times. It's like a $5 game at that point. But I shipped it to somebody and they enjoyed it.
Nice.
So, yeah, we'll see.
Nice. All right. All right. So, yeah, dude, Sniper Elite VR looks amazing. And
I cannot wait.
The more I see of it. Yep.
It's up on my most anticipated list for sure.
Yeah, the more I see, the more I want to play it.
Have you guys played the previous Sniper Elite games? Because I know a lot of people have. I never have myself.
Only a little bit. But not enough to really go in depth about anything. Just played. A lot of my friends loved it, and I got to try it at their house, and it was fun.
I played the Zombie Army Trilogy, which I think was a Sniper Elite mod.
Oh, really? Wait, Zombie Army is a spin-off?
Yeah.
I didn't know that. I've seen that.
Yeah, I played it on PS4
that was connected.
like 2 years back, I think.
And who's the dev behind that? Is that
Rebellion? Wait, for
Rebellion?
Rebellion's right.
Rebellion, yeah, they're a good dev. I mean, I know they gave us Arcus Path or whatever, but like
that was
They just
was
published it, I
good.
think, right?
Yeah, they just that's a little bit different.
Yeah.
Are we sure?
Yeah, that was Dream Reality.
I thought they
Dream Reality.
Okay, you're right.
Okay. So we won't hold it against them, although they should make better publishing decisions in the future.
Yeah.
Real quick shout out to Shat79, that game cat. He says, drunken birthday match donation for Parole and Wolfie Smith, my man. Happy 4th, cats. Happy 4th to you, man.
Yeah, happy 4th to everybody.
Thank you so much, Shats. We really appreciate you. I just want to say real quick before we continue, it's the Patreon support's been dwindling a little bit, and I know that's because like I'm really bad about getting Litterbox episodes out there. I'm really bad about getting viewer takeover episodes out there, which is where we kind of remind people about Patreon and stuff like that. So I just want to say to everyone who still supports us on Patreon, I want to say thank you very, very much. It means the world to us. The whole channel is run on Patreon support. It's just that when I'm tired, and I'm tired a lot right now, those are the first two things that get sort of pushed to the side. I'm sorry, Litterbox episodes, will take a back seat, and so will viewer takeover. Just until I'm better, and that'll be hopefully at the end of the month after I get my tooth extracted. I'm supposed to have a lot more energy after that, but we'll see.
I was just about to say, have you talked publicly yet, really, about like why you've got all the lack of energy thing going on, and like
right now
that sucks, man, that you're going through that. I'm sorry.
Right now they're saying that a root canal I got a couple years ago, there's an abscess with infection and everything like that, and they're saying there's a school of thought out there that says there are no good root canals, that all of them basically cause infection. Basically, all of them.
That's what I'm going to tell my dentist if he ever suggests.
Guys,
I'm going to say I've heard that there's no good root.
I don't mean to interrupt. I want to give a real quick shout out to Nick. I hope I'm saying your Nicholas. I hope I'm saying your last name right. Or Parole. With the 2 euros, and says, "Hello, I am here just a bit. Everything good. Everything is great, my dude."
Oh, thank you very much, Nicholas. We appreciate you, dude.
Nicholas is one of the developers on the 3D Rudder, and yeah, man, I'm still been playing the heck out of it with my 3D Rudder, different games. Actually, I meant to mention Vertigo Home. That actually has 3D Rudder support, and I'm really curious to try that one.
That's actually one game where I'd be curious to see all.
Yeah,
because it feels like surfing a little bit, almost like you're kind of like like getting through all the stuff when you're head tracking. So I feel like it would lend itself pretty well to the 3D Rudder, but we'll see. I don't know.
Did you say, Dave? Did you say you tried Beat Blaster with it yet?
I didn't like Beat Blaster with it, but I don't like Beat Blaster anyways. So
it doesn't help anything.
That might not have anything to do with the Rudder.
I actually started. We'll get back into Scraper in a little bit, but yeah, I started a new playthrough. Well, I'll talk about that later.
Yeah,
we better talk about Scraper soon because it's going to be a 3-hour show.
let's keep moving, blasting through the news here. We do need to move along.
Okay, but what's up, Nicholas? Good to see you, man. Number 8. No, number 7.
I didn't know these were numbered.
Yeah, there's a new game. I sent it to you in order. There's a new game on Kickstarter that was recently announced, and it's coming out in 2020, and it is called Little Witch Academia. And the idea behind it is VR broom racing. And, this game sounds fun. I think you said it's based on what, a show?
It's an anime, yeah.
It's based on an anime. It kind of looks like Eagle Flight
Did you say My Hero Academia?
No, Little Witch.
No, Little Witch.
Okay, because My Hero Academia, I think, is a real...
Gotcha.
I've never heard of it.
But yeah, they're showing. They've actually got a little bit of a trailer that I think we're showing now,
yep.
And I was like, okay, this seems okay and stuff. But I saw a couple screenshots of some of like the courses and stuff, and it was like this beautiful animated city and stuff, and it's got rings like Eagle Flight. So,
do we have a timeline on that, or like
2020?
Yeah, sorry, 2020.
2020. Okay,
probably Q1 2020 or 22 something.
I haven't seen that. Does it look fairly polished, or like it would be a decent experience, or what do you think?
I think it's too early to tell.
Gotcha.
I think people that liked Eagle Flight, like myself and you,
everybody loves Eagle Flight. If they're not,
not everybody loves Eagle Flight, but I certainly
silly. They hate it.
Well, people get so uptight about it, like little things like, oh, the blinders, you can't turn off the blinders, and I was like, it's a launch. Was it a launch title? No, it's
a launch title. Yeah, from Ubisoft.
It was soon after launch.
Lovingly recreated basically all of Paris.
Yeah,
is it Paris?
Right. It's
like they took the assets from Assassin's Creed, which are themselves like very highly detailed. and put them into like. So if you're flying around in Eagle Flight, your shit's not going to look like you're swinging around in Spider-Man.
Right.
It's like a detailed, nuanced city
It's
with
a
all these
beautiful
nooks
game.
and crannies.
It's like cell
and there's,
shaded
like,
a little bit. It's like really
Yeah,
nice.
and
looking.
there's, like,
I gotta say
There's
too,
like giraffes hanging around and zebras.
you can
and
shoot
shit,
and you
it's
can
awesome.
shoot them with sonar wires. I will say too,
I love that game.
is in my opinion one of the best looking games on the OG PS4. When I first played it, I had the OG, and it was the first game where I was like, wow, like it looks like a pro basically on the OG. It looks like it has pro support. It looks that good.
Yeah, this is. I think people are going to be a little bit like, how come we haven't gotten like a Harry Potter Quidditch game or something like that, like, or any kind of Harry Potter game at all in VR? It just seems like this is.
Well, that's not true. To say there's no Harry Potter game in VR.
PlayStation
on-
VR. Dave, get your
PlayStation
fucking
VR.
head out of PC.
You just said VR.
Get out of Quest, dude. What
just said VR.
what do you think the name of this show is? It's not Quest
I'm just saying.
Gamescast Live.
Let's keep it precise. And if you say there's no Harry Potter game in VR, I think it was on like Oculus Go or some shit.
Listen, every
There is a
Thursday
Harry
night
Potter
at
game.
6 p.m. you enter the Without Parole bubble, and all we talk about is PlayStation
That's
VR.
not true. We talked about a bunch of flat screen games. We've talked about all kinds of shit.
I don't
we talked
remember
about
that
your
at
root
all.
canal.
I don't
We
remember this
talked
at all.
don't
None
know.
of
Whatever.
this sounds familiar. Can't be right.
Fair enough. Whatever.
Wolfie has a great point.
I'm just saying there is Harry Potter VR stuff, and it's not that exciting.
Yeah.
And if we got it on PSVR, it would be like the first Spider-Man experience.
Yes.
It would be some tie-in, some super underwhelming nonsense. They're
Well,
not going to release a full Harry Potter game.
I'm glad we got some Eagle
Right.
love in the
Everybody
chat.
loves
Eagle Love.
Because I
bestiality.
know. Well, the problem with that game was at launch it was like $40, which is insane. But if you can pick up the game for 10 or 15, it has like a full campaign and everything. But however, this Little Witch Academia, I've got to see more. But I'm hoping it's a beautiful anime-looking world that you can race through, and I'll be satisfied.
I do have to say one thing before we move on, though. It is. I mean, you guys obviously played from the Futures game. Crap, what the hell was it? Where you're riding around on a stick horse?
Hop along the battle.
Hop
Yeah,
on
hop
the
along.
bat, and of course you look so dumb putting a move controller between your legs and just doing this. And I was like, I've got the same feeling about this. He was like, you got to put the move controller between your legs, and it's just like, I'm like, don't let anyone watch you play these games because you look retarded. Yeah,
I don't care. There was many times where I'd be in my and I'd be playing Beat Saber or Hop Along the Badlands, and people would come in to my house, and I'd be like, "What's up?" I owned it. Just embrace it.
like
Just embrace it, man.
all right,
Just
moving
don't let
on.
anybody record you. I think that's the more.
Moving on. This is gonna be
Moving
the
on.
longest show of all time.
Oh
It might
yes.
be. It might fucking be,
wait
honestly.
until our next top 20 list. That's gonna be groundbreaking.
There might. I think
Like-
fist fights will break out during our next top 20 list.
Dude, it is gonna get rough. I cannot wait though. I cannot wait. I'm so excited. At least we'll have all the lovely people in the chat to help us with the next one. But it's gonna get ugly. Next, we have news on 2 different ping pong games. We'll start with the new ping pong game that was announced, which is VR Ping Pong Pro. And I think it's going to have like multiplayer and a couple different things, but I'm kind of looking forward to this.
I thought you said these were in order.
Oh, is that not in order?
Okay, now I've got the right trailer going.
Yeah. So
Oh, wait, hold on. MacGyver's cousin, Hugh Guyver, has donated a $5. I don't know where the A is. Australian, Austria, somewhere.
It is
He's from
Australian.
somewhere.
Yeah.
Okay.
Nice.
He says, "Have a great 4th, fellas. My contribution to the Project Lux reimbursement fund. Thank you, Hugh.
Thank you, Hugh
Tell your-
Guyver.
Tell your
Brother
Tell your
MacGyver.
brother
Mac, Mick.
Mac Guyver. It's Mac Guyver.
I think it's Mick Guyver.
Yeah, it's funny as hell.
No, but what do you guys think? Another ping pong game?
Okay, so this is.
I'm not
this
that
is,
excited.
this
Wreck-It
is
Fury
from-
is already great.
Well, yeah, but
What? Go ahead.
And even worse,
ahead, Brian.
this is from the developer of our first VR ping pong game, VR Ping Pong, which was
Wait, hold on. Here's the thing. That game was routinely panned. Nobody liked it.
Yeah.
And also
Yeah.
it had a similarly just totally bland ping pong name.
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
hey, it's VR ping pong.
There is a twist.
The
There is
game.
a twist coming. Get ready.
Oh,
for it.
where's the twist? Give me that
Um,
twist. I'm ready.
So, Brian, do you want to add anything more on VR?
No, other than saying the original VR ping pong game was total garbage, and was they charging like $10 or $15 for it initially? That was awful. And so like I didn't even like the physics in it. It didn't feel right, especially when you get something like Racket Fury that was like so spot on.
Perfect.
That did.
So
I don't.
Multiplayer is coming.
I don't know if I trust these guys.
Segue.
I don't know if I trust these guys. Is all I'm saying.
Okay, so VR Ping Pong Pro, we're not too excited about. However, there is a ping pong game with good physics, and it was lacking one thing, which was multiplayer.
Mm-hmm.
And basically, they have announced
the game he's talking about is Racket Fury.
Yep, Racket Fury they're getting close to the certification process is supposed to be done like today, or like they'll know today.
July 4th, they said.
And they're going to be adding multiplayer, sceneries, and a simulation mode, and more. And they're going to basically know when the patch is going to drop very soon. And that is a ping pong game we can be excited for.
It is very, very good.
The only thing I'm a little, and I don't know if PSVR at all, it probably won't, but I've heard people on Quest who played the multiplayer, because it does have multiplayer on Quest, and they said it was kind of laggy. Like it was kind of, the person was hopping around a little bit and they couldn't really react properly because there was some delay. So hopefully,
well, Dave,
I really hope that
I will 100% guarantee you that the reason it took months and months and months and months and months longer than 10 Ants originally thought it would take is because of that exact same thing. And Sony's certification process is making sure that doesn't happen on PSVR. That would be the smart bet.
Well, fair enough. I will say Oculus has been pretty much a stickler about what they let on their store lately too, at least around launch. Some games like To the Top, which I think we've discussed already, got denied. So we'll see. But I do hope that it's going to work well, because Racket Fury is a great ping pong game. Physics are perfect. It feels perfect. I don't know. I love it.
I've been in contact with developers of Racket Fury, and they've told me that they will give us at least a week's notice before the patch drops. So this news is great, but usually after certification, if it comes out for certification, it still takes a little while. So we will let you know very soon, hopefully, exactly when the patch is coming.
Oh God, somebody let Polish Ball in here. Oh no, he's leaving. Never mind, he's leaving.
Thank you. That's about my tolerance for him. We love you, Paul. Thanks for stopping in, even however briefly it might have been. Man, you
should say I'm Brian Paul and I love you all. Even Paul. No, even Paul.
I said Paul. I should say I'm Brian Paul, and with very few exceptions, I love you all.
And the exception is Paul.
And very few exceptions.
Yeah, I've got a few other exceptions. Seriously, shout out to 119 people that are watching this right now. I didn't think anyone was going to be here for 4th of July. This is really nice to be able to hang out with all you guys.
Shouldn't you guys be looking at fireworks, or like eating a hot dog with a flag wrapped around it or something? What are you guys doing out there?
I saw Miles Dyer in the chat. I feel like I haven't seen him around lately, so I just want to give a shout out. Kyle's in there. Oh, AJ's in the chat. That's nice. Ezra, Odyssey. I'm just reading through a lot of
everywhere.
Yeah, thank you guys.
Familiar
so much.
Faces.
Miles had a great comment when he entered the chat. Something about like, he's happy for us to celebrate even though we escaped him or something, or escaped his country.
Miles, I will never try to escape you. I promise.
It's easy to find his comments because he has a big check mark next to his name, and nobody else has a big check mark.
No one else knows how to get verified.
Yeah, no, I didn't even know you could get a check mark on YouTube.
I don't know what that means.
So famous and popular, but he likes us anyways. Okay, he said, "Good evening, happy 4th of July, my American escapees."
There you go.
Nice.
Thanks, Miles.
AJ, I know you had a specific segment to discuss this week, but I do want to kind of, instead of going there right now, I want to talk about Scraper, because I feel like we're gonna talk a lot about Scraper.
Final news. Final news.
I missed it. Sorry.
Resident Evil 7, Firewall, and Astrobot all have physical editions available on Amazon right now for $20. So if you don't have those games, go pick them up.
That's great news. Big time.
That's it.
Yeah. Also, if you're in North America, there's a ton of games on sale, so check out the PlayStation Store, because I saw some great deals. I think like Resident Evil 7 is going for like $15. I know so many games are on sale right now, so go check out the store. Okay, guys, we
Scraper, man.
Really need to talk about Scraper.
So the other cyberpunk meat. Yeah. Who wants to start?
I will start only because last week when we started to chat about it, I had only spent a very minimal amount of time with Scraper. I was very, just at the beginning, and so that's why last week all I was really talking about was it's like saying how tangible everything was, because I hadn't like really, dove very deep into the game. And man, I gotta say, like I went on a roller coaster ride with this thing, because at first I was like, oh, I really like being able to pull the cranks and push the buttons on the dashboard, and like this really feels good, and like learning the controls was a little bit difficult because I wanted to use 2 move controllers, and so like you're learning to move and learning to do all the things needed to do to survive with 2 move controllers, and it's definitely like it takes a little time to get used to. And then I was just like, man, this is repetitive. This is like really repetitive. It's like here I'm going into a floor, I'm taking down some bad guys, I'm pushing buttons on a computer terminal, I'm taking down some more bad guys, I'm pushing buttons on a computer terminal, and it just felt like, man, they're trying to make me think I'm doing more than I am by like making me push these buttons on the computer terminals. And like I was kind of bored for like a while. And then something sort of clicked, and the game successfully made me feel like I was doing something when I was pushing buttons on the computer terminal. And so this gameplay loop that I wasn't a real big fan of at the beginning or even in the middle hooked me by the end, to the point where I was like, I can't wait to play this again. Like I am super excited to go play it through again. I'm halfway through my second playthrough. No, I'm sorry. I finished my second playthrough, and I'm just starting my third playthrough, which is on hard. And man,
oh, nice.
Yeah, it's super addictive, man. And like I didn't actually think of that at the beginning, but the more you play this, I feel like the better it gets.
Yeah, I was a little surprised to say that it's repetitive. I think I agree with all the points about it being kind of gray. It does look good, but you can definitely tell that when it came to PSVR that it had kind of like the polish removed, some of the extra shine. If you read like PC VR reviews, they're like, oh my God, it's so polished.
Right.
So obviously it was, it has a great design to it, but really with the gray environments and stuff, it kind of gets held back a little bit by the limitations. But good for them for bringing it anyways, because I love the combat mechanics and stuff in this game. And when you say repetitive, it's kind of surprising to me because, I mean, it's generally the same thing. You go into shoot enemies, but there's floors that you can explore. Unlike Sairento, I think you said it very well, that Sairento is very stylish, and this is a lot of substance and not a lot of style. So it's not the most flashy game ever, but what's there is very, to me, just ambitious. And I love the fact that you're pulling levers instead of pressing buttons to do stuff. But, in terms of the repetitiveness, there's different enemies. There's different guns you can use. There's melee. You have special abilities. You have EMPs. You get these upgrades that you can do. There's boss fights. There's like, I think 3 different big boss fights that you fight. These aren't just little bosses that show up. These are big bosses that you fight. There's also the other segments, like with the puzzle, like with the drilling puzzle, and then there's like the flamethrower little puzzle thing a couple times. So I was a little surprised that you say repetitive specifically. Now
I wouldn't disagree on repetitive though. I kind of agree with that.
I'm hesitant.
I like the game. No, I like the game, but I agree with Brian a little bit on that.
Mm. But yeah, in terms of like, but yeah, Dave, what about you, man? Tell us all about your Scraper.
You guys have both pretty much beaten the game. GC, I know you've beaten it at least like twice, or you've played it a second time. I know you went back and started
one
again.
1.5, yeah.
Okay, yeah. So for me, I'm like 3 or 4 levels in, so I don't have the full picture yet.
Maybe halfway.
But I would say that's probably about halfway. And so far, I'm really enjoying it. There's something cool about playing with the moves and having that tactile experience of like, we've discussed it, I think, before, or you've seen it on their streams or whatever, but like to activate your shield recharge, you have to grab a lever and pull it down.
Love that.
And that kind of stuff is really cool. It is hectic and it makes it a little more difficult. And I think one thing that people might not be expecting is how difficult this game is. Like, you're going to die a lot. I've been dying a ton. Brian, I know in your review you mentioned that happening pretty often.
It's a little challenging.
So,
it has that.
It is. Yeah, it is.
And that's why I liked it. It was funny. Brian can touch on the difficulty spikes that it has. But to me, that's one of the things I liked it. But for me, it's normal to die in a video game. Like, it's normal to go through a level. If you go through a game and you don't die once, that's bad game design, in my opinion. Like, I'm not saying to be stuck on some parts for like hours and hours, but when I played, a lot of the connections I have with Deus Ex with this game are not necessarily like the way it looks visually, which is a little bit maybe.
Honestly, I didn't get much of a Deus Ex vibe. I heard you saying that on the streams and stuff, but it didn't really strike me that way.
So the funny thing about Scraper to me is you're either going to think it feels really dated, or you're going to think that it kind of has like this familiar feeling. And a lot of that has to do with the open floors that you can kind of explore. And then there's the combat, and then there's a little bit of a difficulty. There are some parts, even on normal, where I died a couple times and took me a couple tries. But what I like about it is that by changing my strategy to it, by changing my weapons that I go in blazing with, or changing my attributes, upgrades, making sure my energy is charged, when I died in this game, it was because I wasn't prepared for a certain part, especially on the hard mode. And even though the elements very light, I thought it was really cool that they have just enough to where if you strategize a little and equip certain things, that it can make all the difference.
Well, the one thing I'll say about difficulty, too, is it entirely depends on what controller you're using. If you're playing with the Move controllers, it will be harder than if you play with the Aim controller or the DualShock 4.
Yeah.
Just having analog sticks, the movement in this game isn't the worst by any means. It's not bad. But it takes some getting used to. And in the meantime, while you're pressing all those face buttons to move a certain way, you have to focus on grabbing, flipping this switch, pressing this button. And that can be a little overwhelming for people as far as like a gameplay experience until you get really good at it. And, you have a full kind of appraisal of what all your options are and when to use them and all that stuff. But if you play it on the Aim controller, which I did a lot, everything is just linked to a button and you have two sticks. And that makes it a lot more arcadey and just kind of fun and not as challenging, which for some people I think may be a benefit. Some people may be, not so much of a benefit. But I love that it has DualShock 4 moves, 3D rudder, aim. Like, as far as supporting options, it's up there almost with like Honor and Duty. Like it's got everything.
How many controls? Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
It's also $20. Yeah, that's another thing. Is like, man. Well,
it's like a full 5 to 6 hour campaign. Yep. You can play on 3 different difficulty levels. There's all kinds of crafting and upgrades and shit. And it's only $20. And they wrote an entire novel prequel.
Right.
There's a prequel that a guy who writes Star Wars novels is like in the game.
I'm glad you
mentioned
$20.
It's a good price.
Ryder Wyndham. Oh, I meant to display it up behind me.
What's your book? Your novel?
Yeah. I've got the book here. The reason it's not here is because I was actually reading it. How
are you liking it so far? Let's do a review of Scraper.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea.
I want to do Scraper the novelization
on the novel. One thing I haven't finished it yet. It's just fun sci-fi kind of novel. It's got like some comedy in it, but it's definitely very like they make jokes about like one guy. It starts off like one guy kind of noticing something suspicious about the Humex, which is what the robots are that are programmed to help humanity. And he notices something suspicious, but they're supposed to be on the lookout for humans. So he's kind of noticing something is not right with their new lights and stuff. And it's like on their taillights and stuff. So they're making jokes about like them, like, going in reverse and being able to see going in reverse. And, they're also making jokes like one of the soldiers are like, quit staring at the robot butts and stuff like that. So it's got like a little bit of humor and stuff. But the cool thing is there was a post on Reddit from Darkon VR who's also really enjoying this game. And he's been kind of vocal like me about it. And But he was saying that the cool thing that the book does, no spoilers, is that it ends right where you begin in the game. In the game, you start on this stolen hovercraft or stolen like freight ship, and you're headed towards the skyscraper. And Brian, I think you even said they mentioned that in in the game. They
Yeah.
mentioned that the vehicle they're riding on is stolen. But the funny thing is, the date that the book ends and where the game starts are the same. So it actually starts, the book ends on July 2nd, which is the launch day of the game. So a little cool Easter egg that Darkon VR pointed out there. But yeah, I would love to tell you how the book is eventually, but so far I'm enjoying it. But yeah, I have a long way to go though.
I just do, I do wish, to have that mentality.
Dave.
Universe.
Yeah.
Can you not hear me?
You cut out again.
Yeah. Say it again.
Can you hear me now?
Can you hear me now?
Okay, so the approach there of having like a deep backstory and like a universe where there's all this stuff going on that happened outside of the game is a cool idea, but in the game there's like barely any functionally cutscenes, plot, dialogue. Like it's just they tell you a couple things before you start a mission, and then you go shoot some guys and you come back. At least from what I've seen so far. So I hope that as they get a bigger budget, and if this game sells well and they make a part 2, that they can kind of incorporate that idea to make it a more narrative experience, like into the actual game itself. Because you can't really feel it in the game, other than just knowing there is a separate prequel if you want to read it. Like I'd like to have it part of the experience itself.
Right. It is kind of it is tough to say, invest yourself in reading a book for this game. When I was reading the book, all I could think about was, God damn, I want to go play this.
Just want to go shoot these
guys. And watch this and experience it. Which I think Brian also mentioned in his review. He says he wishes there was a little bit more cinematic, like cutscenes and stuff like that. There are some kind of things that tell you what's going on in the game right before you fight the first boss, the Guardian. It mentions, if you read the message log at the terminal, it mentions Cypher is getting ready to deploy his Project Guardian, and you're like, what the hell is Project Guardian? And then you go back downstairs, and then you run into it, and you're like, oh shit, that's Project Guardian. Which also I thought the bosses had really cool designs. Guardian in particular had a nice Todd McFarlane design to it, in my opinion. I don't know. It just reminds you I love Spawn, so it could just be the Spawn lover in me that is seeing that, but the green eyes and everything.
Yeah.
Sorry, not seeing the Todd McFarlane, the Guardian, huh?
Oh no,
no, we're laughing about something else.
Yeah, so Nicholas Perret is baiting me a little bit in the chat, but I'll come back and deal with him in a second. What I did want to say is that the first time, I want to say, is the very first time you go to a floor, like you leave the main area, the landing pad or whatever, and then you head into the building in Scraper. You go into the elevator, you go to the first floor that you're allowed to go to, 71, I think it is, 76, and right before you're even allowed to open the elevator door, on your wrist display, this communication pops up, and it's the girl on the landing pad. She's telling you stuff, and it's it's a video of her talking to you and like delivering some story and telling. And I was like, oh, this is cool. But then it never happens again. I was like, man, a little bit more of that would have gone a really long way in this game.
I'm hoping that's something we definitely get to see more. So I actually have some news about, and this. I think they've said this publicly. I thought I was new, but Brian quickly broke my dreams there. But they basically have hinted at the information on Scraper 2. Which I already know that it's been in development for a while, and it was actually originally supposed to be a 2019 release. So I could see it maybe being a late 2019 or early 2020 is what I think is most likely to happen. But essentially, it's called Scraper Sudden Death is the second one, and I'm hoping they go bigger and better. I would love the same kind of formula to it, except I want to see more colors. I want to see I want to travel the streets of New Austin and go down into the streets. I want to see more story with Cypher and more cinematic cutscenes, and don't hold so much back in the game. Really show it off on in the game as a standalone, and then expand on it through the books instead of reserving it for the books. I think would be a lot more fun for the PSVR players. That but the book is cool and all, but it's you don't want to buy a game because of a book. You want to buy it for the game.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. Absolutely.
The other thing is there's also mention of a spin-off, a potential spin-off that they're going to be doing for Scraper. So I don't know how it's going to work. Brian, do tell me what you think about this.
Well, I mean, here's the thing. I don't want to be like overtly negative just for the sake of being overtly negative. But
it's okay. Cautiously optimistic is what we like to call it.
Yeah, it's just it scares me a little bit. Like they're like, okay, well, the thing I relate it to is back when Oddworld, Lorne Lanning's, is that right? Is that his name? Maybe. His series back on PlayStation 1. It was Abe's Odyssey and Abe's Exodus, but like when Abe's Odyssey came out, they were like, oh, this is a first in a 5-part series all about Oddworld and the things that happen in different characters and stuff. And then before you know it, they announced that they had this spin-off, Abe's Exodus. That wasn't part 2. It was just they took the same engine, created some new puzzles, and were like, here's a lot more of the thing that you liked last year, and just kind of like pushed it out. And I was like, ugh. Like,
oh, you got to establish yourself before you have a spin-off. Like, you can't make one game and okay, we've already got a spin-off.
Right.
Well, and that's what Scraper's doing, right?
That's what I'm saying. It's not a great call.
Right.
I think they've got this concept of like a huge like Scraper universe. Like there's a prequel, there's novels, there's going to be sequels, there's going to be spin-offs, which I think is ambitious and cool.
Right.
But
a lot of what we
know of VR developers who release a chapter 1 of something is that they pretty much never release a chapter 2 of it.
Yeah.
Well, it's a good thing this one's already in development.
That's good.
The only counterpoint I have for you, Brian, I completely agree with you, by the way, but the only counterpoint is what if it could be some kind of, a fun spin-off like Metal Gear Rising or Metal Gear,
if it was anywhere near as cool as Metal Gear.
Yeah, I mean, that's Konami, or that was...
I don't think Scraper is about to make Metal Gear Rising Revengeance VR.
No, but that's best case scenario.
Praise them to the moon. That's a great game, but yeah.
Yeah, I'm hoping for maybe something a little bit action packed or something like that.
Yeah.
That could end up being pretty cool.
Well, I mean, this one's already pretty actiony. It's like a sort of arcadey almost when you forget about the upgrades and the plot and stuff.
But they're hoping to shed some more information on Scraper 2 as well as the spinoff in the next coming weeks. So
the thing I was saying is that I wish they would, if the spinoff is using like the same engine, then like I wish they'd just not call it a spinoff and say, hey, here's 6 more floors. We're calling this DLC, right? Here's 10 for $10.
Oh, so like the 18 floors, they could just call it 18 floors.
Right. Well, there's like 76 floors in this building. It's like just keep giving us more and more floors to discover. No, but because this is the first. This building specifically is the first of 4 reactors I think that need to be shut down. Maybe the first of 3.
Yeah, I think 5 episodes. I think they've unofficially are reducing that. I would have to say.
Did we lose AJ for a sec? I lost AJ for.
I did too, but I didn't care to tell him to start again. I gave him the Dave Station treatment of I'm just not listening.
They're gonna most likely
nobody cares.
Reduce. They're gonna most likely reduce 5 episodes. I'm not entirely sure. Yeah. Quote me on that, but that's unofficial. I think they're gonna try and reduce that.
Yeah.
If everyone in the chat goes and buys Scraper.
See, we lost Dave and no one cares.
We lost Dave,
right? So here's the thing. Like the last thing I want is for Scraper. What's the name of the second chapter?
Sudden Death.
Second Strike.
The last thing I want is to be suddenly on the top of another skyscraper and to be like working my way down and doing the exact same thing.
No, if it's the same concept.
Yeah. No, I don't think that would be.
So I mean, that's why I wouldn't mind it for a spin-off or DLC.
The title of the game is Scraper, which kind of entails being in a skyscraper.
Which is why if they give us 6 more floors as DLC, I'd want it to be, okay, this is the next skyscraper. This is the next reactor you have to take down. $10, another 6 floors, good to go. Same graphics engine, just play it. And then the next actual official chapter can be the next actual like Oddworld game where like it was a much different take on the series. Just saying.
Oh,
Yeah.
somebody says, when are we going to announce the next winners?
How about right now?
Let's do it now.
All right, let's do it now.
Nice.
All right.
I'm ready.
So
You
we've
guys
got.
ready?
Yeah, are we doing both or just one?
We'll do both.
do 'em both.
So,
2 and 2.
what are they winning again, Brian? What
One
are
at
they
a time.
winning? Tell those nice folks out there what they're going to win.
Everybody who left a comment on PSVR this week, who said they wanted a North American key for Cave Digger, which is an awesome little $10, very strange, mysterious game. There's still a ton of secrets I haven't discovered. Lots of different endings. There were four winners. We already announced the first 2, and now it's time to announce the next 2.
Yes, we shall. The newest underground denizens of the VR world are DOO24. Do24.
Dewdrop.
Do24.
Congratulations,
DOO24.
Do24.
And then we've also got, funny enough, he's right here in the chat. I know he's here. Kyle, PSVR.
Nice.
Kyle.
WIR Gaming.
I was
It's
waiting
Kyle.
for somebody we know.
Yeah, Kyle won one. So congrats, Kyle.
Nice job.
I was-
chopping it up down there underground, finding rocks, getting Thanos's gauntlet or whatever.
Congratulations,
Isn't that part of
Kyle.
it?
I do have to say I was secretly hoping that Still Time would win because he's been asking for days when this is going to happen. But dude, hopefully, you win something from us in the future. Hopefully, developers will be kind enough and publishers will be kind enough to keep giving us keys to give away every week, so we can
Or
give
fame.
those of you with less money something to play.
Absolutely.
So whoever just won, the people who just won, I will make sure to contact you via PSN and give you your key that way. So keep an eye on your PlayStation Network messages. All right, and then that leaves us with one final thing to discuss. Are we done with Scraper?
Oh, man. Yeah, I mean, so
I think we can wrap Scraper. We're getting close to.
Well, in that case,
It's
I
a
want to talk
$20 game.
about something very near and dear to my heart, and this is a game that came out this week, at least in European territories. It's called I'm Hungry.
I thought we had one more, but yeah, go ahead.
This is I love that the borders are on this trailer. That's a little strange. They didn't even edit this for a proper anyway.
They just captured it directly from the PS4.
Totally did, and then they didn't do any editing. But anyway, this is so I'm Hungry is another game in the most popular genre of PSVR games. It seems is the food making industry.
And why is that so popular? Why do you think that's such a popular thing?
Although it was fun in Vacation Sim. I actually liked it.
Well,
It's
so
cool in
Job
Vacation
Sim is
Simulator.
like the original one that made you make food.
Yeah.
And then I think people saw how popular Job Sim was and said, "Hey, let's make that into a whole game."
Yeah. And the Dino Duo did it actually really well.
Overcooked is super popular.
Right.
Well, Overcooked is huge, but
Super popular.
I'm just at a certain point. It's like, why do developers think this genre is like the one?
Because it's simple
for VR,
and people can, people know cooking. So, I mean, otherwise
it's
it's dead
super
or broke.
simple.
So,
Yeah.
people are familiar with it. So it's something that's familiar and it makes sense to them. So it makes sense to me that they would make something like this.
So here's the thing. This game is very, very. I mean, it's very formulaic. There's no surprises or anything like that. But man,
It's the same as all the other ones, right?
it's the same as all the other ones. But I think Counterfight has a very primitive look to it, although it plays really well, except for Counterfight 3. Stick with the first 2.
Oh, I haven't tried the. Yeah, I think Counterfight Samurai Edition. If anybody's gonna make food, probably the best of 3 Counterfight games.
And Diner Duo, I think, is pretty fantastic too. And you can play that 2-player. Somebody can be the server and deliver the food to the tables, which is awesome. I think that's playing on the social screen, and so there's a lot of games like this, but the thing about this one that's better than all the rest is the art style. The characters, the backgrounds, the animation, the everything in the store, it all looks pretty amazing. It's definitely blurry. I can't lie about that. It's very blurry.
Yeah, so I saw your stream. I haven't played this myself. I will say the animation did look better than it ought to have.
Yeah.
But I did notice that sort of sheen of everything because the animation is so good. It's pretty blurry. Yeah, so it's there's kind of a trade-off there, it seems like.
There's plenty to do in this. You can upgrade your machines, but when I looked at the cost of upgrading the machines, it was like, man, this is going to be a grind fest. And plus,
great.
Yeah, so I don't know. It's cheap enough. I think it was like $13.99. Was it quid. I think that was on I think I got it from the UK store. It might have been on the European store. I don't remember. It was supposed to be out in the US already like days ago, and it's not. So hopefully it's coming soon. But it's fun. You're not going to regret your purchase. If looking at this, you're like, oh, this looks kind of fun. It is kind of fun. That's all I got. It's nothing crazy, but it's stunning as far as the art style goes. Shocking that they were able to pull off this kind of animation. So
as AJ mentioned in the chat, we're going to talk about Catan next, I think, right?
Yeah, we had a chance.
Fantastic.
We had a chance.
Yeah, you guys.
Me, Brian, and Sir David Station.
Wow, Sir David Station.
Yeah, it's very formal around here.
I was knighted recently.
He was knighted by the PSVR queen.
Who's the queen?
But
don't you start pointing fingers this way, buddy.
It was
You and I will have words after the show.
Nerfin is the PSVR queen.
Oh, there we go. Yeah, she
works.
would knight me. I think Nerf would knight me. Nerf, come on.
Of course.
Knight.
I wish we could give that title to Michelle, but she's been like MIA for like a year and a half.
I'll take being an Australian knight, even if it's not really a real British
right.
knight.
Those
That
are just
sounds way
kangaroos.
Well, yeah, those are just kangaroos. You've been knighted. Rye is a koala. But yeah, so we played Catan, and it's a very, very popular board game. I know some of the game cats are getting onto it and liking it. I'm 50-50 with it. I think it's a good board game, but I have problems with the VR game.
So I don't know. It was hard playing with you guys because I got the feeling that you guys weren't familiar, hadn't played it as a board game before.
That we went in telling you that.
Yeah,
yes,
you went in.
You get the impression. Okay. You get the accurate impressions.
I'm trying to represent it for the people here in the chat.
Sure.
Okay, but essentially, if you don't already know the game, I think that people's attention span in VR, when you're in a VR headset, like if we're sitting around a table and I'm telling you how to play Catan, hopefully you guys would actually listen to me a little more than you did. But in VR, you guys just could not even bother wasting the time listening to me explain the rules.
I'm sorry,
I was too busy winning. I apologize.
Well, yeah, eventually, yeah.
No.
Because I didn't put myself near any wood or bricks. No, but I think if you like Catan already and you know the rules, you'll enjoy the ability to play online with people. It doesn't have friend matchmaking right now, which sucks because Sony pulled that last minute.
It's ridiculous.
But if you play with random people and you're okay with that, I mean, Catan VR on every platform it's been on has been popular, well received, and it's no worse really on PSVR. It's still Catan. It's the same game. It's just that you can't invite friends. So they are patching that in at a certain point. But yeah, if you're playing with people who don't already like Catan or have a high attention span for listening to board game rules, it can be a little interesting. I don't know.
I like I said, man, this is what I have my 2 cents on Catan is I think it's a fun board game. I think the rules, the game, like what it is pretty fun. My problem is that you're in VR and it doesn't take advantage of being in VR. It does have you in the room. That's kind of cool. That's about visually the coolest thing about it, though. Because
the avatars and stuff, you can choose your avatar.
Yeah, the avatar. I mean, they're all right. It was nice that you had to choose from and everything, but I'm talking about like the board, like the thing that you're looking at the entire time. It's like it looks like a piece of cardboard with like little pieces on it, and there's a little bit of stuff moving on it, but it's like if you're going to be in VR, to me, it really would have gone a long way, especially for it would have gone a long way to have more animations. Yep. I mean, you win, and one firework shoots up and it goes poof, and one firework shoots up and goes poof,
yep.
And it was like, so what? Like, you're really not going to get anything visually out of this game. It's going to be the people you play with and having a good time with your friends is going to be what carries it.
It depends. I think it depends on how you already feel about Catan too. Because I know people who are crazy about Catan, have all the expansions, play it all the time, and it's like their board game. And there are a lot of people out there who really like Catan. It's been around for decades. It's got a big following. So if that's where you're coming from, probably pick it up if you want to play with people online, because it's hard to get 4 people together in a room to play Catan. And if you're okay with playing with randoms, I think it's fine. I don't think you'll have the same issue really with feeling underwhelmed by the visuals and stuff, because it's more in depth, it's more animated, it looks better than if you were just sitting around a table,
but not significantly better. It's
well, no, I mean, it's not
there's-
significantly better. It's not significantly better, but I'm saying, what would you do to Catan? What would you guys suggest
Shats
that would be a much better
Shats brings up a
implementation?
good point. You can't even roll the dice. You click on the dice and it rolls for you. I'm like, give us we got 2 hands in VR. Give us the ability to like actually just at least throw the dice, man, like something.
That would be fun, but you remember rolling the dice in Table of Tales, right? How they went all over the fucking place and they'd land
That was Table of
in
Tales.
ways that you didn't want to. I'm just saying, like, rolling the dice in VR doesn't have a great track record.
This is one of 2 things you get to do in this game. You get to
I know.
You get to roll the dice and then build stuff. It's like
you can trade with people too.
Sure, I mean there's other things to do in Catan, but like but man, just like if you're gonna make me play, or if you're going to allow me to play a board game in VR.
Well, so this is the thing, that this is why I think you didn't have a good time. This is why you didn't have a good time, because you felt like you were made to play it because it's a new VR game, not because you wanted to hop in and check out a board game with your friends.
Well, to be fair, I wanted to
like,
do that, and I pretty much, feel the same way Brian does.
I got the impression playing with you guys that you felt obligated to play it, and we're just waiting for the timer to tick.
About halfway through, I was just waiting for it to end.
Yeah,
but...
and it was hard for me not to get into that mentality too, because, like, say I was playing with, for instance, I see Justin here saying they had a great time playing it and stuff like that. If I was playing with a group of people who were into it, I think I would have had a different experience. But I could tell that you guys were not really.
It's fun. I'm not even putting the game down, man. It's like it's just. But the thing is like when we say VR makes everything better, this I don't think that makes this better. I think it makes it more convenient to get a game started, but I don't think it actually makes it better.
Yeah. Well, so what I'm saying is, if you like Catan, know that it's hard to get a group together reliably to play a game like that.
Yeah.
And if that's how you feel and you want to play it, there's people online that you can play with who like the game in random lobbies. So if you're already into it, definitely pick it up. If not, you may have a similar experience to Brian or AJ. So
why does Nicholas keep baiting me in the chat? Like why does it?
What's he doing?
He says you need the 3D rudder for this game too.
For Catan?
Yeah.
For Catan.
He says I'm half serious, but why not? Maybe as a spectator mode. Dave, do you have updated 3D rudder impressions since Nicholas is so intent on making us talk about it?
I don't know if we should while Nicholas is here.
I think we're going to say the same thing in front of developers' faces as we are going to be behind their faces.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Okay, so I have tried some more 3D rudder, and it's still... So my initial impression, which I mentioned, I think, on the last GAMESCAST, was that I got pretty motion sick trying out the tutorial of Space Junkies.
Right.
I didn't feel in control. It was kind of spinning in a circle, and I couldn't really get it just right. Now, I've tried it in other games, including Scraper, Immortal Legacy, Beat Blaster, Sairento, and maybe 1 or 2 other ones. And for the most part, in those games, it did feel better than that initial experience, and I started to get the hang of it. But it never felt as accurate, or there's such a learning curve to figure out how to use this thing.
I don't know about such a learning curve, but it definitely takes a minute.
I'm still having issues with the sensitivity. Sometimes it seems too sensitive. Sometimes it doesn't seem sensitive enough. There's quite a few times where I'll return my feet to a neutral position, just flat, and I'm still drifting slowly in one direction, like as if it's kind of thinking I'm sort of tilted forward or left. And so it's one of those things where you're really going to have to tweak it to get it just right for how you feel about it. And for those people who are out there thinking, oh, this is the solution to all my problems because we have no thumbsticks, it's a whole different thing that you have to readjust to. And it's not just like having a thumbstick. It's an entirely different gameplay experience. And for some people, it sounds like it's really good. Some people love this thing and are having rave reviews and say it reduces their motion sickness. And I'm sure that's true for them. But, your mileage varies, because I know for Brian and I...
That's the game with frame rates. That has nothing to do with the rudder.
It's not just the game. It's not just the game. Well,
it's more about hands-free gameplay, is what I'm thinking. And You know,
It's not hands free. You still got your hands.
still got my move
What are you
controller in
talking
hand.
about? Yeah.
well, you have like for instance, something like using a bow and a bow and arrow, where you have to shoot. You have to use both hands to shoot, but you can't do that and dodge attacks at the
Well,
same
no,
time.
so I understand the
Right.
use case for it. Like, I get why that's exciting. Like, say, wizards,
Yeah.
for instance.
Right.
You're doing things with both hands where you're conjuring up spells. And in theory, what you really, really want is to have freedom for both hands to do that.
Right, you need
But
it. For if
the
it was
reality for me so far
Yeah.
is that, especially when you first get it out and you start using it, you aren't going to feel comfortable even just walking. And it's going to be kind of a funky experience. And so if you have to focus that much on just walking normally, you're not getting a better gameplay performance versus having both hands available.
Right.
If your mind is focused on, how do I use this thing?
how much are you having to focus on it? Like,
Are you serious?
Yeah, a lot.
It never
Really?
consistently does what I want it to.
Nope.
I'm telling you, AJ, like, you've had a totally different experience than Brian and I.
like
because
well, yeah,
For
because
both of us, I think reliably, it is not
I know
easy or
that,
natural to use. It's
I know
very,
that when
it's
I
very
first use
difficult
it with
to get
Scraper,
accustomed
which-
to, and it doesn't always work the way you think it would.
I know when I first used it in Scraper, it took me a few minutes because it was a new way of playing, and it was a way that I haven't played before. So yeah, I did have to adjust to it because I'm so trained on using moves to navigate and stuff, even without thumbsticks. I'm so trained that way. So it was a little bit different. But to me, it's just, when you say you push on it and it's not responsive or something, my experience is much different. And stuff like, there's certain games where you start up a VR game. How many games, even take out the rudder, how many VR games do you start and you have to go into the settings, you have to tweak the turn, you have to turn the snap turning off if it's got it, you have to remove the blinders, you have to get used to the gameplay, the controls. It's the same thing to me.
No, I don't think so, really, because each game has that control thing that you need to tweak around and whatever. But for somebody to say that 3D rudder is a solution to that problem is incorrect, because you still have to tweak the settings on the 3D rudder to make it work right. You still have to get used to the 3D rudder at a level that is, for me at this point, a lot harder to overcome that initial barrier of entry than just using an aim controller or using the move controller, pointing my left hand this way if I want to go backwards, or pressing a face button. This is stuff that I think everybody has become very accustomed to.
Yeah,
right. Yeah, but the other thing is that I've become accustomed to it because that's a thing that's there for everybody, and I didn't spend an extra $100 on it, $120 on it. If I'm getting something that in my head before I purchase it solves the issue of no thumbsticks, it's not a thumbstick. Guys, if you're out there thinking this replaces the thumbstick, it does not replace the thumbstick. It's an entirely different control method that in your whole life you have never tried before.
Right.
Thumbsticks, if they added them to the moves, you would pick it up in half a second. You would be immediately moving around, no issues. The 3D rudder, it's very unprecedented in terms of controlling input that way. And so I think for a lot of people, it does have a significant learning curve. I know, Nicholas, you're saying
it is definitely subjective.
It's more natural for the brain, and you have a scientific study coming out.
And here's your scientific study right here. Two out of three hosts of this show got motion sick when they never got motion sick before. Here's our scientific study. So far, it's not looking good for our scientific study. We will expand the pool of the study soon, because when it gets into the hands of all the game cats, and we can see how everyone reacts to it. But right now, it's not looking so good. Done.
Yeah, and so the thing is, I think if you're interested in buying it, the thing to keep in mind is the return policy, because they do have a return policy, and a lot of people will probably come down on it the way AJ does and say, I like this thing.
Yep.
It's a new thing. I like the freedom it gives me to do this without using my hands.
I like for some games, I'm kind of like,
and I'm not trying to put you on the ropes. I'm definitely not trying to put you on the ropes here, because I've heard a lot of people.
I don't feel like I'm on the ropes here.
No, I'm just saying you shouldn't have to defend it, because a lot of people have already said
I'm not. Look,
They
I'm
do
not. I'm
enjoy
not
it.
defending
If
it.
they enjoy it.
I'm not attacking. I'm not any. Like it doesn't. All I'm doing is using it and telling you my experiences with it.
Yeah.
What I see as an advantage or a disadvantage. I have. No, it could do amazing. Everybody could love it. It could. Everybody could hate it. It doesn't make a difference to me. I'm just telling you when I use it, and then what my experiences with are. I'm giving you information, data on what to expect to help you make your decision for it. Everyone out there, I should say.
That's all we ever do. Yeah, hopefully.
Right. Then that's what we're supposed to do. That's why we are here. Because we dedicate all this time to doing this so that you are well informed for you to make your own decisions. We don't make decisions for you unless we go say, play Resident Evil 7.
Well, there's some decisions that you got to make.
Yeah.
There are some decisions.
Guys, everybody play this game.
Yeah. And like I said, for me, it depends on the game. There's stuff like Red Matter that, I didn't really see much use for it. But then there's stuff like Scraper where you're literally looking down and you're controlling a pod with your feet. I felt like I had more control to aim and, pull these levers while doing cartwheels and circles around people, figure eights around people. So it really just depends on the game. Beat Blaster, I couldn't even play without that thing.
Really? I still couldn't play it with. I couldn't
play it
with the thing.
I tried Beat Blaster without it, and I was.
Although I will say I couldn't play Beat Blaster either way. I never liked Beat Blaster. I've always disliked Beat Blaster. So the rudder didn't make it worse. I just don't like Beat Blaster.
Yeah.
Right.
I couldn't play it with the rudder at all.
Yeah.
But I like that game normally.
Stuff like Sairento, where I see kind of a middle ground, where for Sairento, for me personally, I like to stand and play that game. And the reason I like to stand is because when I'm doing a backflip or something, I like to contort my body in a certain way and pull off some crazy shot from in a weird angle. And when I'm sitting, the sitting down limits me to how much I can turn and do this and that. So that's why, but in terms of functionality, it works with it. It's just, but you do have to, that game is not the best example because even without the rudder, there's a billion settings you have to go and tweak and make sure it's to your preference, your play style. But I still have lots of games to play with it that I'm looking forward to. My initial experience with it was pretty good with Wizards, Honor and Duty. I guess I'm not accustomed to using a rudder for flying. Like I've flown a plane like a long time ago once, but that was a very long time ago. And and I was more, steering, holding the controls, messing with stuff. So I know maybe people like that would really like it, but yeah, we'll just, like you said, the way we'll know, for sure is more and more people get feedback and more data to collect. There's a lot that we still have to learn, and I can see both people loving it. I can see people hating it. There's people that love and hate everything, so it's really a personal preference kind of thing.
Yeah, no, I 100% agree. I think this is going to be an interesting conversation moving forward. I can't wait to, now that it's getting into people's hands. I've already talked to some people who are big fans. I've already talked to some people who are not big fans, and I think it's going to be split right down the middle. But
yeah, I agree with that. I think don't take me and Brian's thing. We had a certain experience, but there are plenty of people who love the thing, or at least really enjoy it.
Right.
What's going to make the big difference here is the games it supports. What I can tell you is,
No, I think really at the end of the day, it's down to personal. No, sorry, I think it's down to personal preference. I think it's personal preference. I think between the games I tried, some did a better job of implementing it. That did help with my experience, but it didn't sell me on the thing.
Right.
I didn't play a certain game and say, this is what the rudder was made for. This is why I needed this thing. This feels perfect. So I think it depends really more on how you react to it at initial, the first time you try it, the first week or two.
Yep.
How does it integrate into your gameplay? How do you feel when you're using it? And that's a very personal experience. A lot of people will get motion sick, even though there are scientific studies apparently that show that it makes you less motion sick. If you're not used to it, not having control of your motion in VR in a reliable way, when I press X on the face button, I know I'm going to go forward or backwards or whatever until I pick it up. When I put my feet on the rudder, I don't know what's going to happen. It's unreliable. It's unknown. And so until you really get the hang of it, I think your mileage is going to vary. Some people will absolutely fucking love the thing, and some people won't. So there is a return policy. So,
right. Guys, this is turned into a way longer Gamescast than we
intended.
I know that some people have places to be, and I know that some people are hungry. So we should definitely be closing this up real quick before we call it quits. What are you guys going to be playing this week? What are you looking forward to playing? Do you have anything going on in the background? Anything that you're just kind of itching to get back to?
Man,
I'm trying to make the perfect Mario level.
Excellent.
I'm definitely, I'm still Sairento company to come in, so I've been having to use other means to play the game, which I don't have PlayStation Plus right now. So I really can't wait to play the Sairento co-op.
I'll buy you PlayStation Plus, man. It's not that
No, it's all right. I can take care of it. But I just got to get my copy. Just waiting for my copy, really. But yeah, I'm looking forward to doing Sairento co-op, which I think is another big, awesome thing for that game. I want to finish my hard playthrough of Scraper. Gonna be playing a lot of stuff, actually. Whatever I can. There's a lot of in my backlog that I need to go back and play some more of. And yeah, I'm just gonna be playing a little bit of everything. Got my fingers crossed that we see something about No Man's Sky and Battlewake beta soon. I'd hope for the Battlewake beta first, because I know once No Man's Sky drops, that's going to be occupying all of my time.
Yeah. Right on. When Jeremy couldn't stream this week, I dropped in and took his place and ended up streaming all of Here They Lie from beginning to end.
That was awesome, by the way. That was a great stream.
I had a lot of fun. It was nice re-exploring that
game. It's a great game.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And I really hope that Tangent Games, formerly Tangentleman, has something else VR in the works. But yeah, unlikely.
I wouldn't be so sure. One of the guys from that company went to EA. So I don't know.
Yeah, Josiah and I talked a little bit after my stream because I really wanted to get somebody on the team into a developer interview so we could talk to him about the development and what happened with all that stuff. But yeah, no. So I'm a little bit at this point. I'm like, man, I really want to go back and really kind of re-explore some things that I might have missed, or maybe not missed. That's not the right word, but maybe something I've forgotten about, like Here They Lie. Just forgotten how great some of these games are. We have such an amazing collection of PSVR games that it's just easy to play something, review it, and then never go back to it. And I don't want to let those games get past us.
No, we got to go back and revisit them on occasion. Real quick, 2 big shout-outs to Shat79, the Game Cat, once again with the $5 dono, saying thanks, guys. Happy 4th to you and all you lovely people in the chat that joined us today. You guys are the greatest people in the world, I swear to God. And also Marvelous Mick with another 75 donation. One last thanks to GC,
also
Dave,
Shats.
and Brian. Everything is. I already got Shats. That was the first thing I said.
Did we get Johnny Ride Pop? It was a way back, but I just want to make sure we got him. He gave us a donation for tuning out Dave and Catan. I think we're in the middle of a heated conversation. But yeah, thank you everybody who tuned in, and thank you everybody who donated. We appreciate all of you guys.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah,
and happy 4th of July. I think we've said it already, but
right?
Geez, you guys could be watching fireworks and you're sitting here watching us.
Yeah, man.
I almost bought sparklers. I should have bought some sparklers or something.
Ezra, I totally want to hear what you think about Scraper when you get a chance, man.
And congratulations to all the Cave Digger winners. Thank you guys for entering.
Yeah,
like I said, I'll do my absolute best to make sure there's something to give away every week. No promises, but I'll try. All right, I think that pretty much does it for another episode of PSVR Gamescast Live. Make sure you follow AJ on his channel, PSVR Underground. Of course, he does great work here on Without Parole as well. Make sure you follow Dave Station VR at Dave Station VR on YouTube. And of course, if you don't already subscribe to this channel, subscribe to Without Parole. Make sure you like this video. Make sure you hit us up on Patreon for $1 or more every single month. Patreon.com/WithoutParoleGames. And and change your name to GameCat. Send us some viewer takeover questions. All the normal stuff. That's all I got. We love you all.
So I got
if anybody changes their name to something the Dave Station, I'll give you $5.
Wow, bribing them.
Something the Dave Station.
Thank you, Billy Goat, Catfish, Guy Son Void, Nick Mulo, Redacted, Shats, Nicholas Pere, Jock Jackson, Gabriel, Sunshine, happy fun times. All of you guys, happy 4th of July to you. Try and
Get out there and watch some dang fireworks.
Why are you so
Be
obsessed with these
patriotic.
freaking fireworks, dude?
Yes, I'm a real hot-blooded
cares.
American. I don't know.
But yeah, thank you everybody so much for joining us. And guys, I got a new thing. You know, I'm a big advocate for peanut butter. I don't know if you know that. I love peanut butter.
Big fan myself, yeah.
He's got his end of show story ready.
I'm a big, so
Jesus.
I recently went and paid a visit to my dad and hung out with him.
They call him the peanut butter man.
And you know, I had breakfast. I had breakfast with him, and he had almond butter.
I already don't believe this story. Something's going awry.
And so no, there's no switchblade or there's no blades or anything, but no. So like now like he was like, you want some breakfast? I was like, yeah, I haven't eaten. So now I eat almond butter on bread with honey and banana every single morning now. So almond butter, it's really good. It's good for you. Definitely check it out.
Paid for you by the Almond Butter Association of America. Goodbye, everybody.